goes out just for a good time. That man wants something. That man wants some nookie.
Most men don't do that. Most men don't. So we got to start with the whole I didn't know. All right, niggas going to use the same excuse. Don't get mad at the logic. Don't get mad at the logic. I didn't know she was wrapped. I didn't know her emotions was all into me when I was busting her from the back. I didn't know when she said I love you in the middle. She really meant it. That was a safe word. What are you talking?
Dr. G know better than this, man. That nigga sweating in your living room. He got his phone out because he can't understand the directions.
He got that uncle. He got that old uncle. God.
Ass crack out.
Oh no!
It's a little higher than I thought. Oh,
not the plumber.
He covering up holes. He fucking up all types of shit.
Oh, I can't find a stud in the wall. Don't even know where to put the shit. He just fucking it up.
He don't like it.
Because he like Dr. G.
Niggas be saying yes to shit they don't know how to do.
Hey, you know how to do this? Absolutely not. But you
real shit. Hey, Dr. G, I'm gonna tell you right now. It take me about, if I know the mount already, like if it's a mount I'm familiar with, it might take me like 10 minutes to hang up the TV. 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? That nigga in there for 30, 35, 40 minutes, nigga. Don't act. Come on now. Come on now. Come on, man. You know?
So you all saying there are no men who are just chivalrous, who want to help a woman who might,
we said most. No, I'm not saying they don't exist, but
B said no. He like absolutely not.
Dr. G, 90 to 95% of the men, if they take you out on a constant basis, he wants something for you. The only time I spend money on a woman is if I know that she's a friend and there's just strictly no strings attached. All right, that's totally different. But if I see you in the club, or if we're meeting on the Facebook dating app, or we're meeting on Hinge or whatever, and I take you out, okay, it's because I want something from you. I'm trying to get some cheeks. And all I simply say to women is this: if you know that man's not interested, don't play game goofy. Don't go out. Leave the guy alone.
And you're not telling the men to be upfront about what they want.
Listen.
Well, you can be upfront, but then women say, all he wants is my body. Now, of course, like, what do you want?
Well, but I mean, she gets to choose. She gets to choose at that point. She gets to say, okay, he was upfront. He told me exactly what it was that I'm gonna have to do for him to hang this TV, and she can decide, okay, I'm willing to do it, or I'm about to call the handyman and pay him to do it.
All right, so let me ask you this then. If that's the case, right? Why isn't that? Because women want sex too, right? They find men attractive also, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
So why don't they just walk to the man and go, hey, I would like to take you out. And maybe after that, why can't you just be upfront about what you want as well?
I mean, she
look
can.
Like a hoe.
Right.
Okay.
I was going to say she can, but there are consequences if she does that.
There's consequences if a man does it too.
No, it ain't. From whom?
All right, bro.
Consequences from whom?
If you walk up to a woman and say, I'm trying to clap cheeks, and you don't go through the song.
Yeah, no,
you don't go through the song and dance or trying to finesse.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. I didn't know that's what. Okay, got it. Yeah, I got you.
I'm led to believe you got a coochie balance due out there. Now, how would you like to take care of your balance, Dr. G? Now, Dr. G, they tell me there's a thing called balance transfer. Now, you may not owe me the coochie credit debt, but we could always do a balance transfer.
How do you do that? How do you do that exactly?
You got to convert a regular IRA to a Roth IRA, and there's some taxes owed.
I cannot.
So, B, you think based on Dr. G saying, she definitely got a balance out there?
Dr. G got some balances due. And that lady with the green hoodie on, what's her name, Asher? She look like she got some bills that's due.
What you think? What would you quantify her balance to be?
Who, Dr. G?
Asha.
Asha. How old are you, Asha? I need an age.
33.
33. You got any children?
Nope.
What's the longest relationship you've been in?
5 years.
5 years. Okay. Where you from?
Jersey. Trenton.
Oh shit, Trenton. Shit. Is she right next to Philly? She ain't too far from Philly, between New York, Philly. You're looking at about $3 to $4 grand. You're 33. Did you go to college?
Yep, and I got a master's.
Oh shit, no, that doubles it. So you're about 6'3". Yeah, she got that dude HAMP. Yeah.
She got that dude. Yo.
Oh.
It's a stampede! The stamp. DJ Ham, the stamp.
Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. DJ Ham Stampede, we in the building. Was popping. Original show on Wednesdays. This might be risky. Was goody. Yeah, Ninja Cool, that's definitely a clip for sure. B, what's popping? What's going on? What's goody? How you?
I'm wonderful. Got my vodka mixed with a little bit of ginger ale.
Okay. You got vodka? What kind of vodka you got?
It's called Belvedere.
Okay, what year you think it is?
Hell, I don't know shit.
2002?
I don't know. It don't say.
Don't worry about it. Oh, Gabe, what's popping?
Man, what it do, man? How you been?
Good, man. Hey, y'all need to change y'all names to y'all at names.
Okay. Like,
go ahead, take a moment. Everybody change their name to their at names.
Like our YouTube at name?
Yeah, YouTube at name. Because it works on YouTube, that at name as well. I've been doing all this talking. Check. I'm better now?
Yeah.
Man, okay. Thanks, Dr. G. Dr. G said loud and clear, and I'm let me do this again.
It's a stampede!
Thanks, Dr. G.
The stamp. DJ Ham, the stamp.
Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. We got August, Sean. Sean, change your. You need help? He said no. Lady died. That's not an at name. Jesus.
I'm about to do it right now. This is my at name, but hold on.
Yeah, make it. Dr.
Right.
G, that's not an at name. Coach Tay, like y'all really be selling ass and some more shit. They at least need to know where to find y'all. Cheeky, you have I mean, come on, man.
That is my name. If you look at them,
but bro, they don't. You got to put the at on it. You got to like literally.
The at really make a difference. I didn't know that. My bad.
Yeah, because it's the same on. The at's the same on YouTube and Instagram. It works on both, and it'll bring them directly to your page because that'll bring them a search. You know what I'm saying?
So is that better? Just putting at GVG?
But I wouldn't risk it with the space. That space in the middle, niggas ain't telling you, boy.
No, but I don't know how to explain this. That's literally it. Like,
but there's no space, right?
No space and no at.
Yeah, there is.
It can't be.
I'm looking at my channel right now.
You might get an underscore,
you got period or something. Yeah.
Yeah, just put it together. We don't want nobody to get confused. That's all. You know what I'm saying? Dr. G, take the spaces out. Girl, you better all one. Mm-hmm.
The spaces are in, I think, though. Okay.
No spaces. Yeah. Trust me, Dr. G. Trust me.
I don't even know how to get back without going off.
Let me do it. If we want them to find that book, we need to know how to find it.
I know that's right.
All right.
Asha, I live in DC. I'm not too far from New Jersey.
Okay.
I'm in Atlanta now.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm just only a flight away.
That spirit direct flight, ain't it, B?
Yes, sir.
August was goody though.
Perfect. Popping, bro.
Everything, man. I'm doing well, man. I seen you had put a video in an affiliates link Monday.
Yeah, man. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, every day.
All right. Make sure I know Empress on her job, so make sure y'all go like, share, and subscribe. August more reacts. You heard? Let's get it popping, man. Cheeky, what's good?
Perfect.
It was good.
Man, how's the rap life, man?
I mean, that shit's still going. You got to venture to pop now.
Word.
You gotta pick something else up, bro.
When's your next? Do you throw those shows, or is it like a conglomerate of people?
Yeah, so it's me and the team. So we do it's a rap. Basically, we just get together and freestyle. Like we allow hip hop to be hip hop. Again, you know, when niggas was out in the street just finding something to beat on, pause. Sheesh. Finding something to bang.
Yeah.
Finding like something to make music with and then rapping.
Yeah. Yo, son, Any Wall was a drum set when Grinding came out. Any Wall, son. What year was that? 2000? 2000? Any Wall. Shit, yo. They start outlawing that shit in school, nigga. Like whoever's banging on the wall definitely gets suspended, nigga. But it was worth it. You know what I mean? That's what's up, man. Make sure I go follow at Cheeky Banner, man, on IG. The shit that he been releasing in terms of like the reels and shit is different. You know what I'm saying? And I get a lot of clips sent to me. When I see cheeky shit, I take a moment because it's different. You feel me? Take a look. Osh, what's good? Are you selling something too, Osh?
I ain't selling shit. I'm just here. It's a giggle.
Perfect.
Lady Di, what's poppin'? Oh, let me at least ask, Osh, how was work and all that? I know you just a regular nigga. How was work? I guess.
Oh, you know, in the pharmaceutical industry, just saving lives and shit.
Okay. I just watched that Tylenol documentary. I don't trust y'all niggas, man. Di, what's good?
What up? What's up?
What's good? Are you back from the dead, huh?
Yeah, for real. I'm back now.
That's what's up, man. Good to see you. Had a baby and all that.
Baby's good. Still not even a month old yet. So if I get off camera, you know what I'm saying? I'll be back.
Gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta nurture, huh? Say what's popping?
Y'all, hey, what's going on? Hey, Happy. How are you?
Goody. Yo, oh shit. Hold on. I gotta go get my shit, man. But so I do have to admit, I be saying that you only sell like dildos and shit. That's not actually true.
It's not true.
She sent me all this stuff, man. The body wash is fire. The beard oil and balm is fire. All of it. You know what I'm saying? I don't shave, but the aftershave smell good. You know what I mean? So I humbly appreciate it. I gotta go get it, man. Wow. Where can they find you though?
Hey, y'all can find me at Say the Plug everywhere, and also at the pleasureplug.fun.
Pleasureplug.fun. No Empress on her job. The DC is it, man. We got a VIP event for the ladies specifically. You know what I'm saying? So make your way. Wow. Dr. G, what's good?
Hey, y'all.
How you?
Good.
Man, I seen you cooking on Instagram. You was cooking up a whole lot of shit, man. But I want you to tell them more about the book and all that.
Right. So the second book in my children's book series was released.
You all nervous? You good?
Me?
Just a little infomercial. God damn, you all right? It's only 140 people. It ain't we ain't back yet. Go ahead, guys. Take a shot. Golly. Go ahead, Dr. G.
So the second book in my children's book series was released on June 3rd. You can get it on Amazon, both books. And essentially, the books are a complement to the work that I do. I'm a teacher, trainer, principal trainer, and I train them how to be culturally responsive in their practice. And so my books are essentially how to be culturally responsive when validating and affirming our cultural behaviors. So that's what my books are about. But yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah. So Dr. G, put the name, put it in a private chat, the link, and then I'll drop it in the public chat, and then Aaron will take care of making sure that it gets promoted throughout the night, man. So everybody's link should be dropped. It's 140 people. Even if you're in the cloud, you can click a link. Nobody will know. You know what I'm saying? And then you could purchase, support, subscribe, follow, the whole 9 yards, man. When you first starting out, man, you know, you need your people to support you, right? And then, you know, you get other patrons and people see the following and all that, right? So
support is really important, B. You know, really, really important. None of these games that everybody in here playing are easy, you know. Only the blessed of us can turn a hustle into a career. So I hope that we can help each other achieve that goal, you know? So let's get it. Oh, shit. The man of the hour, Sean Antonio. What's shaking, man? Huh?
Man, ready to tussle a little bit tonight, man. What's good with y'all?
Word, you on your dean tonight?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I see. They look like they're ready to tussle down there, man. You know what I mean? Look how they looking over their glasses and shit. Anybody looking over their glasses like that, they ready to tussle. Yeah.
Damn, the whole bottom can't really see good. That shit.
Yeah, we're gonna walk this shit down tonight, though, man.
Talk your shit. Yo, what's up with the clothing though, huh?
We almost there. We almost there. But look, one thing today, man. I just want to. If anyone here is a public speaker, if you do spoken word or something like that, please follow me, DM me, because I'm building this platform for speakers, and it's specifically for Black people. So if you're interested in that, or even if you've never done it and you got the potential or the interest, just hit me up.
Tap into that potential. So at Sean _Antonio, follow, DM, express it, whether it be for the clothes, for the platform, the public speaking, all that good shit. You heard? Let's get it, man. Salute to y'all. Everybody going. That's what's up. So make sure the mods do a great job every 15, 20, 30 minutes. Drop the links. Everybody should be clicking them. Support. That shit is important, man. Like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. Let me see you in the chat real quick. And we get it popping. Oh, damn. I'm kind of late. It's mad people in the chat. Ninja Cool. What up? Aaron, he so. E-Dub was goody. Mel, you already know. I was in the chat. I like it. DJ Smoke. Mr. Williams was popping. Reaper in the building. Carmen, I see you. Sunshine was goody. Sun Kid, Shalom. Baker Man was good. Royce was popping. TC was goody. Nightbot behaving. Homeboy, Shalom. CJ was popping. Bino in the building. SPS podcast. Saw what up. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe to the SPS as well. Salute Ezekiel. What up, buzzing, birds, flipping dozen. Holla at your boy. You thought your cousin was. Let's do it. Appreciate you, man. They gifted 5 memberships. Whoever got blessed with one, please maintain it, man, and say thank you. Sherelle was good. Yeah, man, I agree. Zeke was popping. Shalom once again. Thank you, brethren. James in the building. Black King was popping. Good to see you. I got E-Dub already. Impress putting in work, of course. I like it. Crimson was goody. Down south was popping. Salute. Quincy in the building. Let me see. I got Royce. Orchid was good. Good to see you. 2 days in a row, on time and all that. That's what's up. Okay, I'm doing good. Let me see. Miss Life was popping. Hope all is well. Lady O in the building. First ever member of This Might Be Risky, by the way. Just This Might Be Risky fun fact. Knowledge, I see you. Let's get it, man. Like, share, subscribe. Art was popping. Neighborhood Superstar was popping. Okay, thank you. I needed that. Let me see. Smitty, what up, my brother? Good to see you. Glad you hit the link yesterday as well, man. That was a good show. EBD was good. Dang, I think he the Michael Jackson of This Might Be Risky, man. Leslie was popping. Mr. Villa in the building. Lady Di in the chat. What that, James? That's you, James? No, that's you for sure. He ain't putting no hearts in shit. Righteous, what up? Anton, what up? Keeps it 100 was popping. Let me see. All right, man, let's get it, man. Salute to y'all. Aaron, salute. Jay Tillman was popping. I got Sunshine already. All right, let's get it, man. Perfect. Hit the like button, man. We got 150 people in the building, and we have 61 likes. Let's go ahead and make the likes match the viewership, please, man. So we had a great time, I should say, last show on Wednesday. Sean ended the show with a bomb, really. You know what I'm saying? Cheek, I'm bugging or I'm on point?
No, you dead, though. You on point.
It's almost like we wanted to start it back up. You feel me? Like, so I was gonna play the clip, but Sean being Sean, I figured why not let him re-articulate the premise. Sean, what's goody? He did the Birdman hands too. Go ahead, Sean. Talk your shit.
All right, the sound is good now, right?
Yeah. Say it, check.
Check. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's better. It's you might need to turn your gain up a little bit, so you don't have to lean to the right as much.
All right.
It sounded good though.
All right. So look, I've been thinking about this, and we've been talking, and I've been listening to the fellas, and I've been listening to the ladies, and what I've been able to determine is that the father, specifically the black father, is the most consequential parent amongst the two.
Shit like that. So
just to set a baseline, right?
Mm-hmm.
By show of hands, how many people out here had a father that was active in their lives?
I did.
1, 2, 3. Just 3.
I do.
4. I would do. You didn't die. That was not a proud hand.
She got the baby, I think.
No,
he didn't spare the rod. Apparently, you.
No, I did. I had a father, but my parents got a divorce. So,
all right, but you still had a relationship with him, right?
I did, yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, so that was what, 3 people or 4? That was a reluctant 4. The 4th was reluctant. Okay. All right. Reluctant 4th. Now, look, here's the thing, right? My premise is this: dads nurture way more than moms do. I want y'all to process that, especially y'all who had a father. Dads nurture vastly more than mothers do. The problem is that dads, we're losing the PR campaign. Nurturing looks different in fathers. When you think about it, like your mind just says mom, because when you cried, mom picked you up, mom fed you. For some of y'all, mom breastfed you. But if we really think about it, I think we can make a comparative analysis that'll show that dad nurtures everyone, including mom. So let's think about nurturing, right? The components of the goal of nurturing is really to help in the process, aid in the process of growth and development. In what ways do we grow and develop? We develop ethics, we develop morals, we develop strength, we develop courage, we develop a sense of us. One thing that dads do, and I think this is the part that I would love to hear what the women say about, dads teach you how to love non-transactionally. Think about that. Mothers don't have the ability or willingness to teach you how to love in a non-transactional way. And I think that's a good place to start.
Dads teach you how to what in a non-transactional way? Love?
How to love in a non-transactional way.
So you give without getting, essentially, and you okay with that?
Absolutely. Dads are the unsung heroes when it comes to that, because we give love. Father's Day is like, what we get for Father's Day? We get a barbecue grill. We get a turkey deep fryer. We get an apron and something else that we can prepare food for the whole family on. You know what happens on Mother's Day? We spend $400 on gifts and dinner and shit. Damn. Dads are unsung heroes. So I just want to know what people think. Untransactional love, no transaction. It's just straight love.
Damn, you right. Like, who want a socket set to fix more shit? Damn, son.
No reciprocity, just love.
Uh-oh. What's up, man? What you got, doctor? Huh? What you got, lady die, or whatever the hell what you got, Coach Tay? Huh? What you got, live, learn at this point? What? I'm acting like I don't even know them, Sean. You see I'm messing up their names and everything.
I feel like you hitting on to something. You had me a little. You had me a little at the beginning, but then at the end, it was like, all right, you might be barking up something. Because with my dad, he ain't here no more. But it was more. I felt like he was a little bit more nurturing. I love sports, so that was our thing. But my mom, she'd like you to spend a little bit of change on her. So you was getting me when you got there, but I feel like the mother is still a little bit more nurturing than the father.
Why?
Especially, it depends what type of household you come from, because you have some fathers in the black
All
communities
right, all
that's in
right, all
and
right,
out
all
of
right, all right.
jail.
Let's stop it right there. We don't want to hear that depends in some shit.
Well,
Why are you saying
you have some black
nah? Some don't
parents, you have
apply
some black
here.
fathers that's in
Some
and out of
nah.
jail, so they
Some
don't get
don't
to
apply here. Is
experience
that the
that.
majority or minority of black dads?
Is it the minority?
Yeah. How many black men are in jail?
It's a lot.
400,000. How many black
So,
men in the United States?
so how can we experience what he explaining to us?
Well, if it's 400,000 black men out of 17 million black men, you using a nominal number of men, and then you extrapolating their behavior amongst the majority. That don't make sense. Uh-oh.
Right. And you started off talking about your father, then you start speaking about some. How about your experience?
The experience that I had with my father when he was actually in my life, very nurturing. I was probably more of a daddy's girl, but it's because of the things that I like. I love sports. My mom don't like sports, so I would linger towards him based on the things that I'm attracted to. So I feel like it's based on how what you like, what your desires are. Some women are more like girly. They like to be against their mom, so they will find their mom more nurturing than the father. So it's on perspectives.
Well, wait. So I think you think the majority of women are girly?
The women in my experience, the women that I hang around, yes, very girly. They won't go to a football game. They won't go to a basketball game. They won't. They
No.
don't.
No, I'm just trying to clarify. So let me ask you, you think nurture is based on what the kid likes?
Nurturing is based on what you desire. So if you desire the things that your mother desires, then you're going to be more attracted to that parent than your other parent.
But you
That's
think
been
that
my experience.
I know, I got you. But you think that makes that parent more nurturing because you like the stuff that parent likes?
Absolutely.
It's a good point. And I actually, when she explained it, I agree. Because, like, if she mentioned sports, if she wasn't into sports, she wouldn't be around her dad like that. She'll be around her mother. So the mother will provide whatever nurture that is in that way, in that aspect of what she likes.
Can I ask a question?
I can understand that point.
Can I ask a question? Do you
Why are we talking about sports? Hold on, wait, I'm confused.
Go ahead, August. Ask your question.
Go ahead.
Do you think that your father may have influenced you to like sports?
No. It was
No,
something it was something that I took a liking to.
Okay, without any influence, you just
Without
jumped in.
any influence.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
They
now
make a lot of faces over there.
I don't agree. I don't agree with that. I think that, and I've said this before. So I do agree that men are more nurturing. I know that women are more maternal. I think that because I think that's what the women are, or that's what the ladies are hanging on to. But the nurturing part is more important because you're instilling in the young lady as a father how to accept love. Like I do agree with Sean was saying that you don't expect anything back in return from. So I can see that point. I do agree with that, but I don't. I also will say that I think that the father would influence you to like sports or not. Like I don't think you decide you like sports without the influence of a man being in the
When did you
house.
start sports?
Who, me?
Sorry, T, I cut you off so bad. My bad.
Oh, you're talking about her. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, when I was younger, I ran the hurdles, ran track, but I learned to like football. But that was something I picked up on myself by myself.
Well, what age I'm saying, like specifically?
Maybe like 13, 14.
Wait, guys, wait. So you guys you're making nurture gender based, right? By and large, boys, right, are going to they naturally, right. So if the kid plays sports or has those proclivities, right, you're saying it's going to automatically be whatever favors that parent. Like that's how nurture works. So you're saying dads almost certainly nurture boys more than in a household.
All boys don't like sports.
I know all, right, but it's they're more the likelihood, right? That's why you see so many second generation professional athletes.
But we have some boys that are
You
mommies.
keep saying some, right? But we understand that some always applies, right? So we don't have to keep talking about there's people who are outliers, right? But generally speaking, you don't think that boys do what they dads do?
Have you been to Atlanta?
Yeah.
Okay.
You think most black men are homosexual or something?
I mean, there's some out there.
Do you think most black men are homosexual?
I ain't say that. I said, have you been to Atlanta?
I'm asking. Are you saying you think most black men are homosexual?
I mean, there's a population out there.
Do you think most black men are homosexual?
I said what I said.
But I need some more substance behind this. Let me ask you a question. Do you think most black men are homosexuals? We just need to understand your mindset.
There's a great percentage.
You think most black men are homosexual? It's yes or no. If you think most black men are homosexual or not, that's all.
I don't know the statistics.
Speculate.
I just know what I see.
Okay, based on what you see, do you think most black men are
50%?
So you think half of all black men are homosexual?
Yup.
Go ahead, Cheek. Cheek living in Atlanta too.
Gay niggas don't got nothing to do with me. I don't even know. I have no idea what. I don't even know what she's talking about. I don't know what she's talking about.
You in an A? You in an A?
I'm in the area where gay niggas don't be at. That's what I'm
Wait.
All right. I don't know what she's talking about. I don't know nothing about what she's talking about. That's on her. I'm sorry, man, if that's been your dating experience or just your general experience. because women got a lot. They got it's a lot of women in Atlanta. They got a lot of stories. They ain't got shit to do with me. My name don't come up. Cheeky all over there. Hey, that nigga cool. Man. That nigga chill. That nigga not gay.
Real shit like that.
That shit's crazy, bro.
I'm gonna tell you though, most it ain't 50%. It ain't even nowhere near close to 50%. Like being gay is not a majority, close to majority thing with black people, black men in general. Just so you know.
That shit still mind boggling me, but I don't even want to get caught up on that. Cheek, what you think about Sean's premise? What was your follow-up question, Sean? Or did you ever even get it out? Pause.
No, I was asking what they thought about about fathers being the one that teach you basically how to love without any reciprocity. Or just non-transactional was the word I use.
Yeah.
What's the reciprocity for the mother when she does that?
Well, I don't want to change the word. It's non-transactional. I believe.
So what's the transaction for the mother? I'm just trying to balance it in my head.
I believe women's love in general is transactional. If it's an if then. I believe a father's love is unconditional.
Even for children? It's an if then even for her children?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. And I'm not sure unfortunately, I'm not able to speak to the initial question. I didn't have my father, and my stepfather was not nurturing at all. So, no.
Okay. So anecdotally speaking, now, okay. What were you about to say, Lady Di?
Well, real quick to Dr. G, when you say not nurturing at all, like Did he teach you anything?
No.
Damn. Oh, so he was just there. All right.
He was not a good man, unfortunately.
Okay. I was gonna say, like, I wanted to take the sports off the table because it's like gonna confuse. To me, it's confusing the topic. Let's just take the sports off and like, are dads nurturing more than mothers? For me, I would say that my dad was very nurturing, way more than my mom. Like if I fell off a bike, cut my knee or whatever, he was the one that was, patching me up, toughing me up at the same time, but patching me up, telling me everything's gonna be okay. My mom, she wanted nothing to do with it. Certain things like that. Like my dad taught me a lot that I still carry today. So I would say, I guess, nurturing in a way where when a parent teaches you, it's still with you, because nurturing is caring for something. So I would say, at least in my experience, I would say that my dad is more nurturing. So my father is. But on a large scale, I don't know, because that's kind of hard to say. Like most men are nurturing, because I think in general, there's a lot of guys that the kids be in the house and they're not even watching them. They just be running around and stuff like that. So that's why I kind of wanted to define nurture, because women nurture by watching the kids and making sure that they're safe, right, in the house very closely. Men don't do that. So I'm kind of like tossed in between what you mean exactly.
Okay, so I'll give you an example, right? So let's just say we're talking about, and you kind of alluded to it. Let's just say you fall on your bike and you cry. What your mom will do, your mom will comfort you when you cry. What dad will do, he'll comfort you, but he'll also teach you. He'll also teach you how not to fall again. You see the difference? Like
Okay.
that's nurturing. So dad is going a step further. Yeah. Okay, baby girl, wipe your tears. All right, cool. Let's go and do this the right way. I'm going to show you how to do it the right way.
All right. So yeah, that was a good point. So women comfort, that's big time. They will comfort more than a man. So if that's the case, then I would say, yeah, men are more nurturing then, because there's a lesson behind it. A lot of women are emotional. So, someone will fall and be bleeding. They be screaming with them. And there's really no lesson out of that, except that I'm gonna put a Band-Aid on you. And then that's it. But yeah, so yeah, men will be more nurturing then if we're talking about it like that. Teaching lessons.
Right.
Could I ask
go for it.
Damn, I should have just asked. I forgot what I was gonna say. It'll come back.
So look, I got another one, right? So let's just say if mom can tell you that it's okay to be scared, baby. It's okay to be scared. But if you think about it, the difference with that is what dad will tell you. Yeah, it's cool to be scared, but guess what? You got to do that shit anyway. Do it scared. I don't care if you crying, do it while you're crying. You hear quotes like, don't cry to quit, cry to keep going. That's a man's mentality. When y'all tell us things, already, I know it annoys women, already we figuring out how to solve the problem. Because stop telling me all this extra shit. Because my brain already is going towards the problem, towards the solution. I don't care about the extra shit. The extra shit is the fluffy shit. How can we mitigate the possibility of this shit happening again or getting worse? That's what dads do. That's what we teach you to do. That's the mindset that we train you to have. The other thing we do, a lot of times most times for moms, shit can feel like the end of the world. Y'all can feel a lot of anxiety because y'all do take on a lot of that day-to-day, moment-to-moment stuff. And so let me just say this too. What moms do is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Let me be clear about that. The hands-on day-to-day stuff is amazing. No one can replace that. I'm just saying that what we do is different. You see what I'm saying? And so when you think about dad, right? When you think about all the lessons that you learn, the nuggets that you learn. So say, for instance, riding a bike. For me, it was very personal to teach my daughter how to ride a bike. Very, very personal. You know what I'm saying? And that to me serves as an analogy for life, because what happens is you start off with training wheels, and that's the do for part. With the training wheels, you're being supported, right? And then the do with part is now, as I take the training wheels off, I'm holding you just to make sure that you don't fall. And then the cheer on phase is now I'm just making sure I'm watching you, just making sure that within reason, like I did with my daughter, I took her to the football field so that if she failed, she would fall on in a soft place, because I knew she was going to fall when she fell. The point wasn't to make sure she didn't fall. It was to just, make it a more favorable situation for when she fell. And that's how a man nurtures differently from a mom. It's not, oh, don't do that. Don't do that because you might hurt yourself. Yeah, you might hurt yourself. But look, this is what we're going to do. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to work on it until you don't hurt yourself no more. And that's the difference in how a man nurtures versus a woman, which is the extra step.
I want to say something. I'm going to say something that I think is maybe a little controversial, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think a lot of times, and this is me coming from the perspective of somebody that came from a single parent home, not from a 2-parent home. I was raised by a single mother. I think a lot of times women feel like they're nurturing, but in reality, they're not. And the feeling really only serves themselves. And a lot of times, I don't think that especially just dealing with a single parent, unless the father is present to be able to kind of ground those feelings into what is actually beneficial for the children, I don't think that women really have the ability to nurture their children. That's kind of like what you see right now with the Black community, why it's in such disarray, because most of us were raised by just our mothers, and it's been a gynocracy the matriarchy that has been in control for quite some time now. And so it's just me, and I'm not trying to be demeaning to our women or anything like that. I'm just speaking, just what my thoughts are based off of what I see. But I don't think that, and if you look at the statistics, in any demographic, if it comes to a single parent home, the father automatically does better than the mother, just because they understand the instruction that comes with nurturing. That, like, in order for them to be able to get better, I have to instruct you on what to do, not just make you feel good or make you feel better. And a lot of times that's where women get caught up at, and that's where it stops.
So women,
I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Like, women, I think it's the emotions that be blocking it. I think Sean said it, like, basically it's something that makes them feel good. So if it's emotional, if something happens to their child, they're going to react on their emotions first before they deal with the child, which then kind of takes the real nurturing part out of the situation. But I think that most people today should be married so that we can have the dynamic of the father having that real nurturing aspect, teaching his wife to kind of do the same. And I say that because I'm married, and my husband, actually taught me some of the stuff that I guess what Sean is alluding to. I just never thought of it that way. And now I'm like half and half. I got the emotions, and then I'm like, nah, get up, and I'm trying to teach them at the same time, because I want to make sure that they have lessons versus, a reaction, and that's it. So I think, more marriages can help bring all of this together, at least, for the betterment of the kids.
I agree.
Just looking at the synonyms and things of that nature. Like, if it's encouragement, promotion, fostering, development, like, literally, fathers even try more shit. So we go to the swimming pool, right? The kids do more because I'm willing to do more, help them go to the highest beam, things of that nature. And then they overcome a lot more stuff, right? While their mom specifically, and I think I can safely say moms are a little bit more careful, right? A little bit more cautious, right? And maybe because of the prowess that they made, you know what I mean? Like, I know I can catch the kids, I can get there, pretty quickly, whatever the case is. And so that allows them the growth and development part that is a trait of nurture. Because if we keep it tall, are we calling coddle nurture? because you kiss on a little motherfucker. Oh,
it's the exact word I was thinking of.
Yep.
So does that? Are we mistaking that for nurture?
Well,
I think
originally I thought of the.
because then you say, I think she said comfort before, Lady Di. So to me, that kind of was that made sense. That we would try to, as a woman, I'm going to try and comfort you first because that's my maternal instinct to make you feel better, right? Whereas, like you guys are saying, it's more of a man's job to nurture and to give you guys that lesson because that's going to stick with you through life. Because my dad taught me how to ride a bike, so shout out to my old man. But you know, those are the things that that's something I've never forgotten. I cycle now. But my mother, you know, she was a single mom, and to I think Sean's point, like there's a lack there because most of the time, whether there's a single mom or dad, that one parent that's home is providing more. So they're not home. They can't pour into you. They can't nurture you anyway. So I agree that marriages would is the solution for us to come together. So I agree with Lady Di on that.
So, Cheek, you got a thought? Oh, go ahead, Dr. G. You got the butt statement. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just think that it's different. And Sean actually said that it's a difference in how we nurture, right? So and that makes sense because we're different. Men are going to do things one way, women are going to do it a different way. But to say that men are more nurturing as a comparison, or fathers, not men, fathers. Am I right about that, or is it men in general? Because I think that makes a difference. Fathers. Okay. All right. Yeah, I just don't know. I think that for whatever the reasons, okay, I'm not arguing the why, but I think there have been too many examples of where that point could have been proven true if men had stayed or took more autonomy over raising their children than leaving them. Then perhaps maybe we could talk about that, but I don't know how we arrive at that conclusion when there's such a breakdown in the family, right?
No,
the majority of men are not
apples to apples. The men that are there,
that's a separate
the
conversation.
fathers that are there, and the women that are there, apples to apples.
Because a lot of times,
but you were saying that the examples you gave, Sean, those examples don't resonate for the missing parent, right? They can't. There's no way that. I don't want to be the progenitor of an argument about gender, right? I don't want to get into that piece. What I'm trying to illustrate is, or I guess maybe it would be better if I asked the question. How do we come to the conclusion that one parent nurtures better than the other when we've already sort of distinguished that we just do it differently?
Yeah, see, that's why the words matter. Like I never said better. I said the father's the more consequential parent, and that we nurture more. I didn't say better. I'd say
okay,
more.
even I stand corrected. More.
Mm-hmm.
How do we?
Not better.
Yeah.
Because,
okay.
Because there are more ways where we have to do it, and let's just, even before we get to the kids, we have to nurture the women too. That's our job as a husband. Like your job is protection and provision. That's a part of an important part of nurturing. Very important part of nurturing. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So like the father's in charge of that for everybody in the household at any given time. Doesn't matter. That's always his job. So, all right, so let's think about it, right? Things that fathers do. I made a list just for the record. I think fathers teach non-transactional love. We offer honest, constructive advice. And let me tell you the difference with this, right? This is the difference. My daughter's 18. She's about to go to college, right? And so the conversation can't be, hey, baby, don't drink alcohol. Don't smoke weed. We passed that. You know why we passed that? Because we caught you with some vape pens before. So I understand that you're probably gonna be smoking some weed, right? So the conversation now goes to this: when you sit a drink down, that's no longer your fucking drink. I don't care how much it costs. I don't care if you love that drink. That's no longer your drink. If you didn't see somebody roll it, you don't smoke that shit. That's an adult conversation that's non-emotional.
And you don't think the mother could have that conversation?
I'm talking about the real situation. And it's getting past. I'm giving you a real anecdotal situation. It's getting past the, oh baby, please don't do this. Get past that shit. Get the emotion out of it.
But Sean, you sound like me talking to my son. This is what I'm saying. Like that's not a gender-based conversation. It sounds like an adult who is dealing in realism when they're talking to their kid. Like, I'm not going to pretend like you're not about to be around this stuff. So let me tell you the real. That's what that sounds like to me.
I get you. I get what you're saying, but in my experience, you're the minority. And shout out to you for doing that.
I think with the thing about the more part, right? Because I agree with you, Dr. G, that I think a parent is going to be nurturing, and whoever's the more active will have more opportunities to do so, right? But if we take an idealistic approach where the man that is married to a woman, just the nature of the man in that position, especially since we still hang on to a lot of traditional values and this idea of it requires more from men, right? If the man expectation is to be a leader in the home, that in and of itself requires a level of nurturing that the woman must accept that she had seen individually in his own life, right? And then after seeing that, she goes under his level of nurturing and follows along with that, right? Because the first thing women will say is, if I don't think you're a good leader, I'm not going to follow, or I'm not going to date you, or I'm not going to marry you. So the idea that these things already exist by himself, and then you come under the guise of submission and being a wife, now you're being nurtured. Now you have children, right? So now his nurturing extends beyond just you and another adult. Now it extends to children. And then if you have more children, now you're teaching your nurturing skills to your oldest son or daughter. And they're going to have, so the nurturing from a top-down effect, it spreads and starts from the man. If we're going based off of a traditional marriage household look. Now, if you want to do something different, I guess y'all can split it 50-50. But what I found is even with that, the women are still looking for tangible and intangible things. That's the thing that makes it more complicated, or I think makes it more for men. Men have to be tangibly more nurturing and intangibly. If there's a bad day going on and y'all having a emotional day, you're going to expect the man to understand that, hey, I'm a woman. Talk to me nice, because that's what women talk about. Hey, I'm a girl. Talk to me like I'm a girl. So guess what he's got to learn how to do? Nurture and encourage and find a way to work around that. Like, there's a whole bunch of things, both tangible and intangible, that a man has to do if he takes on that role of provider, protector, leader in the way that women today are looking for. And I think by default, the fact that it has to end on both sides and it has to start from him makes it more, if that makes sense.
But mothers nurture and nutrition, like cooking. They do medicinal ways to nurture, and then hygiene. And that's very important. That's every day. So wouldn't that outweigh what the man is nurturing, Sean?
I mean, and this is what we're talking about categorically, right? So if you want to talk about hygiene, that's one category. Yeah, if you want to talk about life lessons and morals, that's not to say women can't add value or they don't. But when there's a lesson to be learned, or when there's a crossing of the line of the woman or the wife, because it always seemed to happen. I had it happen. I wasn't a bad kid, but every male has had this happen where, hey, mom told me something, I'm not doing it. Mom told me. Now guess who got to step in? Dad. That's a totally different category about respect and honoring and understanding what it means. So when it comes to the categories, the amount of categories that I think a father has to touch on, it's more in that way. When it comes to maybe the monotony of everyday tasks, by all means, I think women have that, and I won't fight on that, because sure, I don't mind. It's not like I'm trying to discredit more than I'm just saying I think we just touch on a little bit more things, which is why the word more would be used and not better.
And then that should be 50-50 then.
What should be 50-50?
Women nurture 50% and men nurture the other 50.
No.
But Sean,
okay, wait. I do have a question. I do have one question. So if that's the case, who do you think is nurtured more when it comes to the male-female dynamic? Like when it comes to mama and papa, do you think papa is being nurtured more? Do you think he's being taken care of more, or he's taking care of the woman more? I'm just out of curiosity.
Wait, you said, do I think that men are being cared more like the lady's caring for her man?
Yeah, so if you no kids, just
no kids,
mother and father, right? Or just husband and wife.
Yeah.
Who do you think is being more nurtured in the relationship, a man or a woman?
It's 50-50 because y'all asses have to eat every day, wash your ass every day.
You cook every day? Oh man, see, we finna do it. We finna do it.
Clothes.
All of that. Your clothes, your shit look nice, your haircut. That's every day. Every day.
Wait. Stop. We got
hair
every day.
Right, you bathing him?
Do that, right? We doing not manicures for a man, but cutting nail, all that stuff. I'm caring for my husband, right? Every day. I'm talking for real.
So now that we got to this point, how many women you think are doing what you're doing?
Bingo.
Wait, we need to hear from the most high woman. You know what I'm saying, Lady Di?
All right, I'm on mute because that's not happening.
Nah, that's you can't.
I mean, I was doing it.
You know you were standing out. You know damn well you were standing out.
Perfect example. Let me ask this. Right, we're gonna move on from Lady Di because she wanted to mute. Let me go to ATP. Right, ATP.
I was doing it. Yeah, I was about to get married, and I was doing all that.
And then you stopped.
The relationship stopped. The relationship stopped.
I'm just fucking with you. I'm just fucking. You found out he was a little. Let me stop. Why you like your nails done so much, man? Hold on.
Oh no. My joint was from Patterson, New Jersey. So.
Oh my God.
Patterson. Ooh, damn. Ooh, damn.
Niggas hate Jersey.
Yeah, I agree with her. Yeah, 50-50.
Of course you do. You some nigga. Of course you agree.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree that the women, because that implies that women are nurturing men too. Now, I mean, we're there for support and all that, but I don't think it's 50-50. I think that the man pours into the woman and the family way more than the woman does.
Damn.
Again, we're thinking maternal. We're not thinking pouring into like growth or development. We're not thinking about the actual word. We're thinking about the maternal. Oh, well, I do these things every day, so that's more. Now, I can't relate to that. I'm not a mother, but I've been around them. I see them. I have one. So I understand, and I'm a woman, so I get it. But no, the men nurture more, I believe.
I think that a lot of times women get caught up in the feeling like they're nurturing when they don't really connect the idea of the development that comes beside that. And I think men do a better job at that because they operate more in logic. So a lot of times, like even with my mama, she like, you know, she feel like she's doing the right thing. You know, we have conversations even just about my little brother. She feel like she's doing the right thing. And then when I apply the logic, then it's like, I didn't even see it that way. So a lot of times it just get caught up like that. And it's not until there's really like a man there to be able to ground it. And you could just look at the stats. Like, I hate to bring it up like this, but like single father homes does just almost as good as 2-parent homes. Whereas if you just look at the community, the Black community, the way that we are operating is in a destructive manner. You know, like our young men do not understand how to control their emotions. You know what I mean? This is because of the matriarchy that has created this breed of young Black men. And so once the father gets introduced, he institutes those type of lessons, and that's what gets lost. And that nurturing is the nurturing that is necessary for any community to be productive. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'll just stop there.
I'm wondering how was this matriarchy able to rise to prominence?
We're not prominent.
How did this happen?
We're not prominent.
Well, you said that there is a matriarchy in place, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm asking you, how did that happen? How did the matriarchy somehow become some position?
Okay, so from it being a patriarchal to a matriarchy, our women chose the government over keeping a nuclear family together. So government assistance was like and child support was like a safety net that allowed our women to operate in out of the standing, the ordained standing that God had for man, where the woman falls underneath the man. So because she has the government there and has the home and can say, get out, you can't stay here. That
She
has
can put him
created
out of. She can put him out of his house.
out of her house because it's her
Oh, so it's her
government.
house.
Yeah, exactly. She's the one that's paying. That's on the well, not the mortgage, but what is it? What those people
How
have?
is
Let's
how
ask
is
a
that so? How is that so though? Like,
How's
well.
it sold?
Let's ask a different question, right? So
Okay.
essentially, Dr. G, just in terms of what you think, your mindset, do you think that Black people have been systematically oppressed?
absolutely,
Do you think that they took aim at the men, or you think that
absolutely.
so when he's saying what he's saying about if they support how do you think they did it? Like what when ways in which you think they did it?
Right. I think they took aim at the men, but I don't think that somehow put women in some prominent position over the men. Not
You
in our
saying they
community.
you saying they
Ma-
took aim at the men, but the effects were what exactly?
Well, the effects were that we're kind of living through what we see right now, right? Where their homes are broken, the two parents aren't together necessarily. Children
Okay.
are being raised in a one parent family as opposed to a mother and a father raising the children. But
Mm-hmm.
what
And I
I'm
guess
trying,
okay, well, I guess just wondering the homes are fatherless. Do you think that was intentional?
yeah, I think it was intentional.
Systematically?
I think it was intentional from the system standpoint, yes, but I don't think that it had to impact the community in the way that it did had everybody just stayed together. So the system had a agenda, right?
Okay.
And it would appear that agenda was to disrupt the home by extracting the man. But I guess my question is,
Mm-hmm.
why in the community did we allow that to happen? Why did the man actually leave?
Well,
Why
I would
didn't
say
he?
Well,
I would
before
say
you respond, August, I just want to make sure I'm hearing it clearly. You saying it was a systematic approach? Are you saying from the government and the entities to
Yes,
destroy the nuclear family in Black communities,
yes.
and they took direct aim at the men?
It would appear so. Yes.
What's the qualifier appear mean? Just so I'm clear.
Well, based on all of the variables in place, that appears to be what the aim was. Based on what we see, the outcome of what we see, that appears to be the aim. That it was to target and take the men out.
Okay, so I'm just trying to wonder. Because then you're
What I'm
saying
saying, I guess what I'm saying, Hemp, just to cut
then you
to
can
it.
you can reply, August. I just was trying to understand the logic. Go ahead, Doctor.
I guess what I'm saying is we know this is systematic. Why didn't we stay together and fight the system as opposed to fighting each other? That's what
so.
I'm saying.
Here's the thing, right? It's a number of things that kind of is a conglomerate of things that broke the Black family up. I don't know if you familiar with the mantra of like I don't need a man. That's Black women champion that all the time. And so the government being able to systematically create a safety net for women, and then the mantra of not needing their men creates the separation. And so men are not going to be where they're not needed. That's just not going to happen. They have to be in a position of authority. And so when you have the dynamic in a household where the woman is in charge and she's the head of household because the government is allowing it to be that way, then his authority, his voice in that house doesn't have as much thunder as it would if they were in his house. And so there would have to be a giving up of the power, and under this man's rule, which our women didn't choose, my mom being one of them. And you see that happen a lot. And actually, and I'm gonna end it right here, a lot of women, a lot of older women teach younger women how to get on government assistance versus the idea of find a man, get married. It's independence, feminist ideology, and you know that's the recipe that led us to here. But I'll stop there.
So to respond to something you said toward the end of your statement, you said a lot, and I'm surprised Hamp didn't catch you saying a lot of women, you know, teach their daughters how to get on assistance. I would say that's a very small minority of women. It's so insignificantly small that it didn't even need to be said, in my opinion. And then to go back to something you said, the government created programs for single families, not for women, because a man can qualify for those same benefits, right? So what I'm saying is the Black community we should have stayed together, right? Swallow your pride, right? If it's about getting ahead, then stay together and do it. If she's the one that you perceive to be getting the benefits, then be there and lead her to getting whatever it needs to come back to the family to hold it together.
Can I ask a question?
Swallow your pride and your ego, right? And another thing too about the nurturing aspect of it, a man is not going to be where he's not needed. If he has children in that home, he's needed. He's needed. In that regard, you know, you gotta look at the bigger picture for your family and your community. Yes, there's an attack on you, but do you leave the hole or do you stay and you fight?
Well, here's the thing, and I really want to ask this question. The attack is coming through our women. Okay, so that's how the attack is happening. But this is what I'm gonna say. I want to ask this question. And it's a scenario, right? Say for instance, we're in Section 8 and you know the man isn't supposed to be there, but he's there, and the lease is in the mama's name, and they get in an argument, they get in a spat, right? And they have a disagreement on something that is major for the family. And she tells him, if you don't do it my way, you could just leave. How should he leave that situation?
By having his name on his lease and she be under him.
Okay. All right, cool.
Right? Because again, you keep speaking about Section 8 and these minuscule, tiny minority of people, right? That situation might be true for that situation, but I just don't think that's the majority of us. We're not living in a situation like that. And so, and this is coming from the men who frequent panels and who talk about these things. She should fall under his guidance, under his leadership. How does she do that if he has not secured a home with his name? Like you're saying, he's getting put out of his own home. How? So that's the problem. That's the disconnect.
Well, I was talking about a specific time where the disconnect happened. I think that now that we're having a conversation about it, people like my age are making better decisions. So what I was qualifying it to is just that specific period where the disruption happened. And a lot of women overwhelmingly had the ideology, which was pushed through feminism, is that they don't need a man. And I know you heard that. I know you probably still hear that today, where a lot of women, I ain't say all of them, but a lot, maybe most, I would say most, they have an ideology and a mantra of I don't need a man. And so to support that mantra, why would that ideology then transform itself to say, you know what, I'm gonna remove Section 8 out of my life, leave that power that the government is trying to bestow upon me to the government and choose my man and live under his rule, that wasn't happening. That's what I'm speaking to. And so if you really think about like how history played out, a lot of our women, and you talk about the systematic oppression that the government, pushed towards black men, it was used through women. When you empower part of the demographic in a way that I'm gonna just end it right here because I don't want to be too long-winded. If you empower, if you empower a demographic, like if you empower your female demographic more than your male demographic, then it creates disorder and destruction in the family because a man has to be in charge.
And that's why, right? We could, and you know what? Big ups to you, brother. No ill content or any of that. I just think that there's two different ways to look at it, and you and I could go back and forth to the end of time. You have your position, and I have mine. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, we could leave it there. We could leave it there.
Cheek, you were about to say. Well, Cheek was trying to say something earlier. Tay, you wanted to respond to what they were talking about directly?
Yeah, no, I was just going to ask Dr. G. So do you agree with August's last point about men being in charge?
What specifically about men being in charge did you say, August? I'm sorry. Just that they should be in charge. I think that's what I heard.
They have to be.
They have to be.
Yeah. If a community that's going to thrive, men have to be in charge. They have to lead it.
Yeah, no, I not only agree with that, but I think that's what should be happening. That's why I'm saying, I'm wondering, why we didn't fight to maintain that. We know the system has never been on our side. So why didn't we fight the system instead of each other? That was my original question.
I got a question.
Okay, this is the thing that I don't know, maybe perplexed a bit, right? So if we agree that it's a systematic thing, and we're saying that you can qualify with two people and etc. But if we went through, you guys know gerrymandering as an example, redlining. So you can qualify, but the people pushing the paperwork choose who qualify. When you go into particular offices, you ever seen this movie called The Accountant? You guys seen that? The first one? You remember he's sitting there with the two older people? He's like, if you say this, then you get that. If you have a home office and it's 700 square feet, I can qualify you for X. You guys saw that? Mm-hmm. So now, if there's a particular agenda that Dr. G agrees with, seemingly, right? And they say, if you don't have this person here or there, you get more of X, Y, and Z. If we're saying that, it appears as though they take aim at the men. So I'm just kind of, when I'm hearing it, it's like, but why didn't we fight? But if there's a specific agenda and we know that redlining existed, why are we being slightly obtuse in the fact that if we agree they took aim at the men, then it was much more than just, why didn't you stay and fight? You'd be surprised what people would do for money, right? I think that there are men that left, right? I think there are men that removed themselves, right? Because you can get more based on who is or is not there. And then you have women that push them out. I guess we got to figure out what is the bulk of the reason. But if they really aiming at him for real, and you agree with that, I'm just wondering why we are at odds to that extent.
Well, because just because he's being he's the one that's aim is being taken at. That means you give up, you leave your family, you leave your woman, and you're gone. Like you're not even I'm not going to be here, but I'm a pour in, or I'm going to take the kids, or I just don't know, Hamp. It can't be as simple as, because we've been fighting systematic oppression since we've been here.
I'm saying it's not simple, right? But it's just like, why didn't he do that? And I'm just wondering, like, do you know what type of guns they using?
But that's not the only reason either. I think.
So why do we?
I'm just wondering. So I'm just wondering that part, right? I'm not saying we have to over. You know what I'm saying? I'm just thinking like.
I don't think it's clear cut.
No, it's not. But I'm thinking that we would be more on the same side.
And I don't think we're on opposing sides. I just want to put it out there. I don't think we're on opposing sides. But but this trope about women, I don't need a man, and she pushed him out, and she didn't want him, and she wanted the benefits over him, and
Okay, that's the part that gives you cause for pause. Okay, I understand it. I guess August saying also with the wave of feminism, the likelihood that happened seemed to be pretty high in terms of everything that he put together. But I catch your drift. The one thing, right? We broke this number down. We did all the math, right? I think it was me, Sherelle. So it looks like based on where we at now, 30% of our households are actually fatherless. We like broke down all the numbers, married and the fathers that are involved and etc. So it's actually the minority, at this juncture, right? Because if you just try to leverage marriage stats, you're going to be at a extreme deficit. But when you start breaking it down about fathers involved, and because you can do it based on visitation, even, you got court records and such. So we kind of broke it down in that way. Tay was about to say something. I apologize. Cheek was been trying to say something, and I think Lady Di wanted to get in.
No, real quick. I'll be quick, guys. I just wanted to say about the systematic, and I'm done with this. That somebody somewhere, right, understood how important it was for the man not to be in the household systematically. So I think we need to really think about that more so and let it hit and step outside of our feelings and think about the logic behind it, because somebody somewhere understood that our homes will be broken and that our community would be a mess like it is now. Which we're trying to fix it, but we can't fix it if the women are not aligned with what the men are saying needs to happen for us to be successful at building our community back up and making these relationships more successful and getting that marriage rate up. So that's all I want to say about that.
Cheap.
Yeah, I think trying to go back all the way into the 70s, 50s, or 60s is not ever productive to the modern conversation. Not because those things don't matter, but because that's just not a true tale of the current situation. Like, that's another thing that's what I was going to say, is like most kids do have a mother and a father in the home, right? Whether it be they're married or not, the involvement of both parents is been documented, and they did a show on it, and they went over the stats for that. 1, 2, when it comes to the whole black fathers being involved with children, that 50% sharing half and half, fathers are involved in the mourning process as well. They help get the kids ready. That's been recorded, and that's statistically proven, right? So there's not like these fathers wake up in the morning at 5 a.m. or whatever the case, and then go to work 15 hours a day and then come back. No, most people's jobs don't even require all of that. So they help in the process of getting the kids together too, when it comes to sending them off to school. So when it comes to the 50-50 nurturing thing, men also take part of the daily process. I don't know why we try to make it seem like women solely do that. They don't. We don't live in the time and area, a period where that's the case. So when it comes down to it, I think overall the categories that must be hit by men when it comes to a wife and children is exceptionally more. Not because women are less, but because they require more. By nature, y'all require more than what it is than men do. We're more simple. We don't need as much stuff. We don't need y'all to do. Most of the times we're dealing with things on our own, which is why mental health month is the men's mental health month is such a big deal, and all because we do it all our own. We don't really talk to y'all about it. So y'all can't nurture us because you don't know what to nurture. Not to say that that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's just the truth. All right. So when it comes down to nurturing and men having to do it, we do, and we have to do it. And we can do it healthily, or we can do it in a maybe more proficient way, but just naturally speaking, it start with us. Because if it don't start with us, we don't have a family. If a man cannot nurture and lead, which is all in one, he has nothing. He can't attract any. He can't attract a woman. How you gonna get a woman if he can't be a leader? How you gonna get a woman if he can't nurture or foster her emotions and conversations? Y'all know what y'all go through every month. Y'all know what y'all do, and y'all know, hey, I need somebody that's patient and knows how to talk to me when I'm going through things. That is part of the dating requirement today. It is, and if you can't do that as a man, you're getting left behind. You got to do more than just bring money to the table. Women have made that known. So we require more things. We have to produce more things. And if we have children, we have to multiply those things that we're producing while maintaining a relationship with you, while we may or may not be as nurtured as we should, because we're handling it on our own. That's all.
I wanted to respond to that. You about to do super chats?
Yeah. Interesting. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. TJ, what's popping? Good to see you. OG in the building says several years ago, the American Nurses Association released a patient survey saying male nurses are more compassionate, caring, and understanding than the female nurse. Really?
Brother.
Interesting. And TAT with the 10 ounces, dad been, quote, gone about 17 years, and I miss him dearly. Without him, there would be no me, and I wouldn't be the man I am today. Love my mom, but I'm not a reflection of my mom. I am my father, Nick Taylor. And TAT was popping. Salute to you. God bless the dad. Leslie with the $10 says, Asha, sing it for us. No. What's that Ray Sherman shit? Like no flex zone. Yeah, no some zone for damn sure. They know. Red Pill Ranger with the $5 says, men nurture and women coddle and enable disguised as nurturing. Also, women can like sports without male influence, like men like cooking just because. Laugh out loud. Marcus Evans with the 10 ounces. What's good, brother Hamp? Salute, my G. Dope. Congratulations so far. Indeed. Welcome back, Lady Di, and congratulations. Indeed. And for someone to say 50% of brothers are gay is nasty work. Red Pill Ranger with the $2 says, most women too selfish and self-centered to nurture. Let me know if y'all want to reply to any of these, by the way. Aaron with the $2 says, men are the tillers of the earth. We nurture the earth. Carlisle Tom was popping with the $5 says, my mother taught me morals. My dad taught me how to survive. My experience. Aaron with the $5 said, the fathers who weren't nurturing to their children, could it be because they see the battle of the influence the mother can have on his teachings? Like push back. Caesar was popping. Caesar Palace in the building with a 20 ball says, dad put hands on child's shoulder, quote, let me show you how to, and he teaches skills and safety, explaining why he does something. This allows his children to understand his reasoning and his perspective. He lets them try and fail. Aaron with the $2 says, in 2025, are mothers still nurturing the same? Jack was popping with the $5 says, don't mind me. I'm just here to cyber stalk Lady Di and Sean. Women not being nurturers is Cheeky's fault, and I blame Dr. G for little boys' illiteracy. Pound do better. Jesus Christ. Jack with the $5 says, also, does Tay need a house husband? Up there looking all good and shit. Stop it. Also, don't. I'm out. Keep up the great shows, Ham. Salute, Jack. Be safe out there. You heard? Red Pill Ranger with the $5 says, it's a matriarchy because women chose to give their womb to losers! Exclamation point. The men didn't leave their family. They never were a family. Can't quit a job you never had. Damn. Marcus Evans with the $5 says, brother Ham, you do realize Dr. G is trying too hard to fight the truth on what you and August are saying. Y'all do see it, right? I think she. You want to reply to this, Dr. G?
I'm just articulating a different perspective. That's it. I want us to be able to look at this as a whole picture, not a half picture. That's it.
Okay, Dr. G, talk your shit. Red Pill Ranger with the 2000s. 80% of people on Section 8 are women. 45% are black. Yeah, I think Dr. G's overarching point to that is the number is small, generally speaking, although there is a large representation. I think that's kind of what she had replied with to the August. Red Pill Ranger with the $5 says, we, quote unquote, should swallow our pride and stay together, but we not initiating the majority of divorces. So keep that we shit. Aaron with the $2. My brothers do just as much or more than the moms. Excuse me. Daily was popping. He said
Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that.
Glad to see you. Arnold with it says, Hamp spell nurture. Come on, man. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. Dr. G, you get your shit on? I mean, Lady Di, did you get your shit on? Forget.
I don't want to go back to that topic. That's okay.
Well, we can still, I mean, if it need minding, it mean minding. You know what I mean? Like,
I'll just say one thing and then we could kind of move on. I wanted to ask Dr. G, like, what's the percentage of men leaving the house and women saying they don't need a man, which is men still leaving the house, but it's kind of forced by the lady. What's the percentage of one doing the other?
Yeah, I really don't know. But what I will say is that if I physically get up and leave, that's to me a bigger move than.
Dr. G, hold on. That's slightly unfair though. So you got a question, direct question, and then dismiss the question when I don't know, and then give commentary.
Well, I was gonna try to. I don't know the percentage.
Just try to answer. It's all right. Like just speculate.
Okay, so I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know the percentage of like the whole women saying I don't need a man versus men who left. I don't know, Hamp. Like I don't know, Lady Di. I don't know.
I'm asking that because you seem like you're only talking about, well, the man left. Why did you leave? You're a leader. But you're not talking about these women who literally push men out the house. And if they try to come back, you already know the authority is going to be at the house. Cops. So it's really nothing they could do, right? Then you have women who you can't see the kids. And they, it's a whole bunch of stuff. So I wanted to make sure that that's considered as well.
Right. No, great point. And I can see to that because I do recognize that there are women who are pulling those sorts of games. I would just, I already said what my initial, point was for even bringing it up. I just want us to look at the whole picture, but I can concede to that. I think too many games are being played, especially when there are children at bay, right? And we're not considering the precious cargo, right? And what the outcome of that's going to be when we don't stay together or when we leave or when we say we don't need each other, all the things. So, yeah, I won't push back on that at all. It's a great point.
Okay, thanks. I just wanted to kind of clarify, like, that is the whole, right? Because you're talking about we want to have both. Well, we got to include both.
Yeah,
and that's
for sure.
Okay.
Okay. Now, August, I know you want to add something. I just want to get Jay in. Salute, Jay. What's popping? You remember what you was gonna say, August? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm good.
We'll get Jay in once you. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
What's popping? There go the book link to Impress. If you could assign this for somebody, that'd be greatly appreciated. Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead, Jay.
I don't even know where to start.
Go ahead, start wherever it's on. Okay. Roll the dice.
First of all, I don't think the Black community is a matriarchy. I think male presence is still very prevalent in our community. I think we just focus on this minority or the stereotypical view of the way other people see us. But we all know that most of us have some type of male presence. The family structure varies. That's the difference. It's not a traditional family structure, but we still hold on to traditional values, meaning the man still has a final say. He still gets to be active in his children's lives. We still follow some biblical type of context, whatever that may mean to us. We still hold on to traditional and conservative things. It's just we don't have that familial structure. That's it. I see more people with male representation in their lives than not when we talk about Black people. So,
do you think? I guess so. Here's one of the things. Let me get your response on this. Right. One of the obvious retorts would be that let's say he's a weekend dad, right? He has that allocation of what is it like? What is the weekend thing like? 2 to 2 or every other weekend from like Thursday to Monday, something like that. I don't know, something like that. And so generally, the mom has the child more, right? The retort would be that she's given the most of the direction and instruction, and even if he tries to instill things, it's usually going to be overridden because she has the kid more. So who's in charge of that kid overwhelmingly or by just based on the dynamics? Go ahead, Jay. Just because that would be like one of the responses you would get essentially.
who has more of the authority over the kid?
Yeah, like who's the main influence? If she has the kids, how many days in a month? 30. So she has the kids, what, like 20 21 days, right? Something like that, I think. And he gets every other weekend from like Thursday to Sunday or something. So she has a kid 21 out of 30 days. The impact seemingly would lean towards whatever she thinks is correct or right, you know?
I mean, in that instance, sure, it could be that way, but it could also not. Depend on the negotiation that those two parents have amongst each other.
No, 100%.
The kid could still have way more, could give way more credence to whatever their father deems right over their mom, just because they may gravitate to their father more.
Yeah, we agree that it's like it could be, right? I guess based on logic and speculation, based on just sheer time and numbers, who's more likely to have the influence?
Okay, well, based on time, it would be the mother if you just want to base it on the time frame.
Well, impact, time, right? Also, what we see, generally speaking, from the anecdotal experiences that we hear from those men is the manipulation that's involved, and at the very least, those situations that we hear about. Now, we understand that all men aren't going through that, but the men we hear the most, maybe because it's propagandized, seemingly are having issue with getting their kids, seeing their kids, the keeping of the schedule, etc.
I mean, I can agree with that, but I don't think that's majority of the time what's happening.
Okay. So you think they have that their 8 days or whatever case is, and you think he can override what she's teaching in 21 days?
No, I didn't say that. I don't think that the turmoil is the majority experience in that instance. I don't think it's that tumultuous. And if you think about it, I mean, you can't really, like, how much are you gonna keep the kid going back and forth from both parents? That messes up a child too. So the child's gonna be with somebody majority of the time, whether it's the dad or the mom.
No, 100%. Well, I guess we're just mining through the matriarchal thing that's currently under scrutiny. You know, so if the kids are being reared majority of the time by their mom and she's the custodial, right? What are they being taught? What is being instilled? Right. I remember I had the 25-year-old panel that you can respond. It was all women like your age or under. You remember? I don't know if you guys remember. And they were essentially saying the same thing that the older generation was saying, and that's what they were taught. See, that's the thing that stood out. They didn't even have time to experience it yet, but they were saying what the older women were saying because that's who was raising them.
Well,
that's one thing that stood out to me, you know.
Like, I think what's missing from this is also how propagandized motherhood is on a societal level. We're told that mothers are supposed to be the main caregivers. They're supposed to be in the home. They're supposed to be more domestic. That's what we're supposed to be doing. So it obviously makes sense when it's replicated in the legal system why most of the time the mother is considered the custodial parent or things of that nature. So if we don't want that to be perpetuated, then we have to change that narrative. I don't think we can necessarily blame the women when that's a societal thing that's pushed on to all of us, not just a certain few.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask that one question. Anybody else want to chime in? Because I know that's a retort that would normally come.
Well, now I was just to piggyback off of what you were saying, and I guess you just basically conceded to that point, is that if the custodial parent is primarily the mother, then that by definition would consider that a matriarchy, because the mother has most of the influence on the child, the ideologies, the way that the child is being brought up, the worldview. So that right there would automatically deem that would deem it as a matriarchy. It's pretty much what I'm trying to say.
Not the Black community, no. It would not consider the Black community a matriarchy. Again, most of our households has male presence and or a male figure that is leading that household. So
what's happening is we're looking at the statistics as it stands today, but the way that, I guess, my age, I'm a millennial, I believe. I'm 35, so around my age, that's where single motherhood and the absence of a father really took precedence over the community. And so what we're experiencing now is we're experiencing the repercussions of that, and then we're experiencing the adjustment that men are making to be able to be in their children's lives more, just by our experiences coming up. And so the reason why I say that is because as it stands right now, the people that have had the majority of influence over people my age, the ones that are pretty much running America right now, is a matriarchy. The father's presence wasn't really there. Now we are making the correction to be able to be more present, more prevalent, and a lot of it is because we're more vocal too. Because before, it was a single source news, and so now we got the great equalizer, the internet, to be able to be more vocal about things. But if the person that is making, and which it stands today, the most influence, they're the custodial parent, which is what you said, is the mother, which is also applies to the Black community, because in the Black community, the custodial parent isn't predominantly the father. That would by definition make it a matriarchy in the community, if we're talking about it like that.
Majority of the cases, there's two people. It's not just a single parent. There's no custodial parent. There's no primary parent. It's two parents. Most
two parents living in a house together, raising children. That's what you're saying?
Yes,
that's what's happening
60
most of the
to 65% of Black households has a male presence in the house. Yes.
Okay.
The qualifier that we need to discern, and anybody can jump in, is what is presence. So if it's a weekend dad, technically you're correct. I guess the impact of the presence is he the leader in the household if he doesn't live there.
He lives there. Yeah, he lives there.
60
to 65%.
65%
they
we
may
live
not be
together?
married. Yeah. You may not be married. You may be just shacking up together. It may be a different type of thing.
So you're saying 65%
Hey, if I'm
of
wrong,
us?
please tell me. But that's what I read.
No, if they were living together, I think I'd understand the point. I don't think they're living together though. I think there's a number that we don't know, right? Because there's no
the number for the 2011 study of Pew Research says it's found that 44% of Black fathers, 44% of Black fathers live apart from at least one child.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm kind of so
right. And then on top of that, living apart does not mean that you're not functionally co-parenting or effectively co-parenting.
Right, but that's just going to Jay's point where she was saying the 60 number, 44% live apart, which means that's the minority. So again, I think when we start having these conversations about Black parents and who got kicked out at the 70s because of the CIA and FBI, we passed that part. Like, can we please stop having these dead ass, old ass conversation, please?
So let's just clarify. So 55% based on that number live with their kids, essentially. 55, 56. My math is off a little bit.
56, yeah.
56% live with their kids.
This is from
4% variance. I was off.
This is a 2011 study, so right, you can look it up and update it. But my point
probably has increased by then.
That's my point. If anything, it would have increased. Like I don't understand why we keep having these old tropes and old conversations about the 70s and 60s of who got kicked out of the home when they were 16. Like nobody cares. We're past that point. Can we please stop doing it?
Oh, so I think.
My point.
I think to your go ahead, Jay.
Sorry, I apologize. My whole umbrella point is essentially, I feel like when we have this conversation, we are essentially diminishing men's presence by continuously having that same type of circular conversation.
In that old trope,
it's not represented. It's not represented in the numbers. Y'all are there. Y'all are active.
It don't even make sense.
Stop trying to hold on to whatever this used to be.
Okay, so let's take this walk, right? So it says that's 2011. So let's say we've been doing better, right? And the way I can make that assumption and then still man it is because everything else have increased in a good way. So our jail population has dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Crime. Majority of us are middle class.
Majority of us crime has dropped.
Black people are doing much better. Why do we?
So I'm just saying that for the sake of if 60% is the number, it makes sense because we've been moving in a positive direction. You see what I'm saying? So if we want to say it's 60% now, I could understand that.
Well, let me ask you a question. You guys are essentially saying that the 60% of of the black population have 2-parent households, is what you're saying as it stands
At
today.
least. At least.
At least 2-parent households.
At least 60%.
Okay, I just looked it up. It's 33% that have 2-parent households. It's not 60%. 60% is, let me see, because I'm looking at it right now.
33% are 2-parent household. Is that a marriage rate? Is that a marriage stat?
That's hold on.
Because we're 30% married, so
yeah,
that's a good correlation.
It says black children with 2 biological parents married or cohabitating. So that's married or cohabitating at 37%, and that was in 2023.
That's impossible. What's the source?
What's the source?
Oh, I just looked for. Let me get the source. Hold on.
Just drop it. Or drop. You can tell us.
Cheeky, where did you? Okay. Oh, you got it from Pew.
The Pew Research of 2011.
I know that's the Pew one for sure. The 2011 one. Okay. Now and see, this is why the conversation is important, right? Because if something need to be laid the fuck down, let's lay it down, right? And put that shit in the grave and leave it alone. You know what I'm saying? Because men been saying we doing better. How can we not be doing better in taking care of our children? Right? The millennials, we ain't leaving our children like the late, I think it's the boomers and then like the early Gen X. Right? That's not us. You see all the football players my age, and I use football because I love it. They fucking sons playing the NFL. And they dads be standing right. Yo, did y'all see this fight? Well, I ain't gonna bore y'all with it. But anyway, it was the hell of a fucking fight. Both their fathers were there, right? And the one son lost. I mean, a great fight. And you know what? His dad was there. And he leaning on his dad. His dad kissed him on the forehead. Grown man, boxer, everything. The other son, his dad, right next to him, looking regal as hell. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just, motherfuckers, like, just to your point, right, Jay?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
niggas, like
niggas around.
Like we go to our kids. Some of our kids are in football now, and you should see all the dads out there. It's nice to look, to see the dynamic. I see a lot of dads around their kids. At least where I'm at.
I was raised in a single parent household, right? If I decide to have children one day, and God willing, we're married, I don't want my children talking about, oh well, the black community. You got 2 parents. What you? That ain't your cross to bear. Like, we doing fine. Y'all are there. Y'all are doing better. Y'all are improving. Y'all are trying to figure things out. Why do we have to keep revisiting the same trope?
And when I initially questioned August for saying that it was a matriarchy, that's probably what I should have just said, right? How could that be possible when everything is kind of on a trajectory going up as it relates to male presence and being there for their children? I didn't have my father, but I made sure my sons had theirs, and I make sure that my son understood that if we're going to have children, we're going to be married with children. We're not going to continue, this same sort of cycle, right? All the way up until the point I remember me telling him early on, if you go out and you get a woman pregnant, then she's moving into your bedroom with you because you won't have a child across town. You're going to wake up with your kid. You're going to know what's going on with your child. So if you're ready for that life, okay, then, don't be careful out here. He actually told me later that we sort of scared him into even getting involved with women because he just did not want to, witness all the things that I was saying was going to happen. My point is, I didn't have it, but I made sure to teach the value of that to my kids. So things are definitely better, if not through our kids, than just, from teaching and doing better.
I'm so sorry. Really quick. I'm looking at the link that you put, August.
You got to scroll down to the bottom. It's going to break down. There's a chart at the bottom. And it breaks down like the household. It breaks down the household from like the married couples and then the
I'm looking at it. It says about 4 in 10 U.S. Black people live in households headed by married couples.
Right. Yeah. Right. That's different. That's totally different.
It breaks it down by family, household leaders, householder and then male householders. And then if you look at
so
it,
married
that's different.
couples. Well,
no, if
That's
you
different.
either way,
August, look at what I posted and it breaks it down better. Look at what I
married
but do you see
couples.
where it says you see where it says female householder?
No,
And then it says
you'll see
male
it more
householder?
clearly in what I posted.
I'm gonna say this, y'all, because I gotta go. I gotta like catch in a few hours. But I'm gonna say this. I think August's point was in terms of like the matriarchy being in charge. I think the mindset and the way that our actions are being portrayed, like the things that we're thinking and how we're feeling about things and allowing those feelings to lead us. I think that was more so the point in, hey, the matriarch is involved and in charge, because that's how guys are thinking. Guys are thinking like women now, because those are the people primarily, to the point of the conversation, pouring into the young boys. To what I think you were saying, Dr. G, earlier. But anyway, it's all about mindset. Let's get that right. And I think the women just need to kind of let's align ourselves with these men, the right men, right? Because we know which ones are really about that business. So, all right, love you, Hampy. Bye, guys.
Bye, good night.
Love you.
Hey.
Sean, is this
Be safe, Tay. All right,
this the
see you,
living
Tay.
arrangement of all children, or this the living arrangement of black children? Because I think it's the living arrangement of all children. So it's gonna be a little skewed.
Yes, it's all. It's all.
Yeah, you got to do black children. Black children totally different. That's why I was
No.
trying to say mine is specific to black children.
No, but look, when you look at what I was trying to show is what's being broken down. It's so, say for instance, in the one I sent, it says 71.1% are living with parents, and then there are 25.1% living with one parent, and then it broke down. Of that, 21% is with a mother, 4% is with a father, and 3.8% is with neither. And so what I was saying is what you posted, the breakdown was consistent with this.
Wait,
you can just extrapolate.
What I'm saying to you is that what yours is a bigger pool of people that they're extrapolating the data from. It's considering all children. So what's going on in the white community is also added into the data that you were just identifying. But the one that I gave you was the one that has specific to black people, because our marriage rates are astronomically more than other demographics. So the whole ideology is a whole different conversation.
But look, August. So looking at what you posted, it's not saying what you think it's saying. It's saying 3 in 10 black people live in households whose head is female, which is 30%, and 5% live in male-headed households. That's a total of 35%, which would mean that 65% either live in a 2-parent household, and or a small percentage, just like what I posted, is people who live in a household, live outside the household, which is why that 60-something% makes sense as to how many live in the two. You see what I'm saying?
Well, no, explain it one more time. I'm trying to understand.
So what you posted says 3 in 10 black people live in households.
4 in 10 U.S. black people live in households headed by married couples. 4 out of 10.
Right. No, I'm not even talking about that part.
That's the part I'm talking about.
It said that part don't matter. Look, so because that's married couples. Married couples is different from married couples is different. Married couples is different. Married couples does not take into account the people who are not married but are in the household. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, we understand that. So it breaks it down further by male and female.
No, that's not further. That's two different things. So the first thing says 39% are headed by married couples. Take that off to the side because that's married couples. That's the apples. Now the oranges is 3 in 10 black people live in households headed by female, which is 30%. 5% live in male-headed households. That's 5%. So that's a total of 35% total. That is different from saying married couples, which is what the first part said, which is why we have to separate those two. Those two are apples and oranges.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? It says 4 in 10. It says 4 out of 10. I gotta pull it back up.
I think I found a better representation of the data.
Hold on real quick. It says 4 in 10 black people live in households.
Yeah.
It says 4 in 10 people, black people, live in households by married couples. That means that 6 out of 10 don't live in households by married couples. Okay, so to extrapolate out of that 6 out of 10, which is 60% of us, 6 out of that 6 out of 10, female households are 14 million or 30%, and male households are 6%. That's what that's saying. And then there's a percentage for households that let me make this bigger because I can't. I'm looking on my laptop. Hold on.
Can I just what are we trying to get at? We've already sort of talked about the notion that things are better, like, right? Today is not the same as the 70s. And so we don't need to make those pronouncements, right? So if we look at today and how things are getting better, the men are more present, millennial. I agree with all of that because I see it around me today. What are we trying to qualify? What are we trying to get at?
Well, because the men are doing better, but the women still have an ideology of
Is that what the data was going to show?
Well, if you look at
our ideology.
Well, I'm extrapolating that ideology out of the data because of the mantra of what leads to that data being what it is. Does that make sense? Like, there's a reason why we don't have.
No. What you're trying to do is imply something based off of data,
what I'm saying is there's a reason.
Not necessary.
There's a reason why.
And you don't have to. Yeah.
Well, I will, but there's
no. I'm saying you don't have to because we can't.
Well, I'm saying that there's a reason why the marriage rates are what they are, and so we have to talk about why the marriage rates are low.
But
so let me wait.
Like,
that wasn't even the point we were arguing. We weren't arguing about marriage. We were arguing about two-parent versus one.
Look, when a person has something in their head, they're gonna get the argument, the conversation all the way to that thing. We got all the way from there to there.
Yeah.
Well, Chicky brought up the data, so he used the 2012 Pew Research, and I was like, well, we got to be a little bit more factual. And the idea that 60% of people are in 60% of black people are in couples and raising children in a household together is not factual. And so if we saying that and we leave the conversation thinking that we're doing better than we are, that systematically is what.
Okay, so
we're not doing better.
Wait, hold on. It's just what he's saying is if it's infactual, the problem is we can't make it seem as if it's something it's not. The only issue or the issue we're going to have is what we're going to do or what he's going to do, which I'm going to disagree with because he's not going to be able to back it up, is imply some end result based off of that data or statistics. Causation or correlation, they don't equal the same thing, right? So for a perfect example, if I realize less people getting married, and I say it's because the world's going to blow up, and that's what I'm implying to is that because that's what I think. Then I'm going to find every which way to make the stat show that particular thing instead of just looking at the stat for what it is. Now we can infer about whatever statistic we want to, but it just doesn't make sense because you're not going to prove anything. The reason why people aren't getting married more today, the reason why there aren't so many children being born, the reason why all these things are happening, and they've already done research on it, is because people are realizing there's more to life than children and marriage. It's not because black women hate black men so much and they don't need a man. It's because there's so many different things going on outside of just life being marriage and children that people are not doing it. And if they are doing it, they're doing it at a later age, right? The average age of marriage is increased. The average age for people to have children is increased, all because people are trying to do more with their lives. One, and it's just unaffordable. There's no need to put in this need for black hate or black people just hate each other. That's why. And the reason why we can't get together is because black women say they don't need black men and black men say they don't need, because black people ain't shit. Like, it's like, bro, they already got studies done. They already explained what's going on. We don't got the money. We don't have the money. We don't want children. We don't want to be married because we not tied to these same traditional values. That's just how shit goes. Why we got to infer some other thing in the studies that's already giving us answer to this? Why we got to do that? That don't make sense to me. Why we got to stick to the old goddamn script?
Okay.
So, they kicked us out. Like, come on, bro.
So real quick before we get a reply, Office of Justice Programs, Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, right? I'm not trying to just gloss over what Cheeky said. It deserves a response. But I just want to make sure we have the quantifiable number. So based on this department, which seems credible. My man Will sent it to me. He usually go for things that make most sense. This is also what Jay pulled up. But it simply says in 2023, the majority of white children and Hispanic children lived in two-parent homes, 76.3% and 67.4% respectively, compared with 44.6% of black children. So it is saying two-parent homes. So it's not, it is eliminated married. It's saying two-parent homes, whatever the construct is, two parents live there, and we're at 44.6%.
So just
I want to say something cheeky real quick.
I wanted to say this real quick, just to the argument. That's why we're mining it out this way, because I know idealistically we want to believe we're doing better than we actually are, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done, and we gotta be factual about what's happening. That's based off of what he just said. 60, and I know for a fact, 60% are not living in two-parent households. That's just a fact. But go ahead, Lady Di. I'm sorry.
55, 54%, 56%.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Lady Di, because you want to respond directly with Cheek said, and then Jay, you can jump in.
So I understand you, you're done with the conversation of talking about the past, but I do want to say that the past is relevant to today. So if there was more families back in the day carrying to today, like there wasn't such a deficit of, no father in the house and all that stuff, then I think our mindset would be different today. We wouldn't say that you can't afford it, right? Because there's some people who have kids with the father, they're living together and they can't afford it, but they just make it happen, right? They're just making a family. They building legacy. So I do want to say that the past is relevant. Now, talking about it every single time we talk about relationships, we don't have to talk about it every single time, but I don't want to dismiss the past.
Well, Di, you said some, right? And so based on this, that what you stated would be the minority, right? Now it's 44%. But what do we do with that? Like, are we saying it's a good number still?
I'm not even talking about that conversation with the stats right now. I'm just talking about what Cheeky said about the past. He don't want to talk about that no more. He's tired of it.
Okay. I don't want. It's not if we're going to talk about the past, then let's talk about the past, but keep it in the context of the past. The past issues are not today's issues. How many people that are 30 plus live with their parents, statistically speaking?
I don't even know. It's probably more than the past, right?
Yes, it's absolutely. Most young people still live with their parents in their 30s. We're dealing with something that's way bigger than just oh my goodness, the government. No, bro, we don't have money like that.
You just talking about economically. It trumps all of that stuff. Like just economically, we can't afford.
But it's more than economics, because then we start talking about people just not getting married until later in age. What happened in the past? When was y'all getting married? What was the average age?
At an early age.
Right, and then look at the divorce rate.
Yeah, but this is why the past is important. It was a reason why people was getting divorced. Like all the shit that was happening, that's why they was going to divorce. And
no fault divorce happened. That all came in the past. They're saying what we're recognizing, or what statistically is being proven. If you wait till you get older till you get married, the percentage of your marriage being more successful is higher instead of it being when you're younger. If you wait till you're more secure financially, it makes more sense to have children. All of these things come at a later age, and instead of pushing these things on people that are younger, we're just not doing that. Younger people have already determined it doesn't make sense to try to have a kid at 23 and I can't get a job.
But logically, you're thinking of that. You think most of these people today are thinking about, oh, let me wait till I'm 40 years old to have a child, because sometimes it's not because of the logic. You're saying that, right? There's a lot of, let's say, Caucasian people that have kids at a later time, right? They wait till their finances go up, they're finished with their school, and they're able to provide, right? But I'm talking about Black people. Black people, majority of them are not thinking logically like what you just said.
Family planning, that's what it's called. Black people don't do that.
They not thinking of that. Sometimes
most people don't family plan. Why I don't understand why
like
I don't understand why we think most people are just planning a family. Most people are having unprotected sex and they're having children without a real plan.
She's saying,
but you're saying, I'm not arguing against myself. What I'm doing is you're highlighting what quote unquote Black people do as if we're so much different than everyone else. And what we're finding out is We're not that much different. If anything, we're more than likely similar. And the reasons why we're not getting married and we're not having children is because we don't want to, not because we hate each other.
No, like I'm gonna be real, for real. Like Cheeky, that's you and people that think like I don't think it's a lot of you walking around. I'm just gonna be real with you. A lot of people are having unprotected sex. You already know if they have unprotected sex, they're not thinking like that. You are different. You know that. So you can't say that's the majority of people.
Lady Di, now let's assess, right? The birth rate for the youngins is down exponentially.
But they having the babies and they are deleting them. So
they're not having the babies.
But they're taking the babies out, right? But if you thinking that person is they're not logical. They're not. Why would you even do something like that to delete
because
them?
I can't afford the baby. It's gotta go.
Don't do the action. Period.
Oh, well, actually, to her point, but don't have unprotected sex. To her point,
that's what I'm saying. That's not somebody that's family planning. They not planning nothing. They just living life and doing whatever they want to do without thinking like what you said. You're like, I'm not ready to be a father or be a husband right now because of whatever the situation is. A lot of people not thinking like that. They just doing whatever they want, and if it happen, it happen. If it don't, it don't.
Okay. If you think that is the case, that's fine. I don't mind you saying like this is your idea, and I'm not trying to put my idea on everyone else. When there are studies like NBC reporting or things like this, when they're asking, "Hey, do you want kids?" and people who are in committed relationships go, "No, we just cannot afford this." This stems with people that have relationships. Everybody that has gotten somebody pregnant doesn't mean that they did it on a one-night stand. These people are not having children, and they've already expressed why they're not having children because they can't afford it. It's not just my mentality. These are reportings. Look this up. Go to MSNBC. They talk about the birth rate declining. They ask people out on the streets, "Why aren't you having kids?" "Well, we can't afford it." "Why aren't you getting married?" "Well, I want to wait till I'm older. I want to wait till I'm more established." These aren't the words of me. These are words of articles that I've read.
And that's not majority.
Yeah. Now, I do agree with Cheeky. One of the reasons why I have not settled down and got married yet is because I want to wait till I'm more secure, more established, and I want to wait till I'm a little bit older. Like, I don't mind having a child in my 40s or my 50s, but my mother raised me in her 50s or 60s, and so did lots of people in my community. So for me, that's never been an issue. But that's just me.
Are you abstaining from sex till you get married?
No, I ain't said all that. I just said.
I'm about to ask you. You making sure you using like the proper. I hate to say it like this, man, because I don't really, you using the proper protection. So using the proper protection. You ain't jumping in them raw. Using the proper protection to make sure you don't have children until you financially stable. Is what you're saying?
Oh, whoa!
So you definitely jumping in the things raw. That's what I'm trying to say. So if she get pregnant, it's up to her when she has the baby. So you're not financially planning. That's not what you're doing. You just
hold on. August, you gotta let him respond.
Oh, my bad.
Listen.
You coughing?
I got a little cold hamp, guys. Yeah. All right, so I'll just say this. I don't like condoms, but I've been blessed to where I've been able to avoid with the exception of one woman getting pregnant. So I just
Cheeky, that's what I'm goddamn saying, y'all. I want to know how many people are walking around like they're not having sex, because this is the issue. People have relations, and then somebody oops and get pregnant, and they could decide to keep it or not, and then the stupid ass like cycle keeps going, which is not logical. But someone versus that's not doing something, they're putting like things that are important before having kids and family. They're like logically thinking about, okay, this is what I need to have before I oops and do something. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think majority. I was just saying.
Here's where this, because again, when you look these things up, young adults are choosing to have fewer children due to a combination of factors, including financial concerns, a desire to focus on careers and personal goals, and concerns about the state of the world. While some have simply chosen not to have children, others find it difficult to reconcile their desire for children with the challenges of modern life, such as high costs of living, childcare, and societal changes.
Culture plays
These are the reasons. This is not. Let me finish.
Black people?
August, I don't know because I can't talk. I can't look at every single person. And if you're saying black people, fine, that's your stance on it. If you think black people are just that stupid, that's your opinion. I don't care. What I'm addressing is people, generally speaking, in this generation. The reason why we're not seeing an increase or uptick in marriage or children. It's simply because we can't afford it. It's not because we hate each other. And if you want to make it a black thing and go, black people are just so specific that they hate each other that much, y'all can do that. I don't care. I'm just going to start leading these conversations a lot earlier because it's repetitive and redundant. All right. I'm tired of hearing about how black men couldn't get in the home, or if they did come in the home, they had to leave hide their shoes because the government was knocking on the door and it was in their girlfriend name. Bro, look, the reason why we can't have kids is because we can't afford it. The reason why we don't want to get married is because it's just not successful at an earlier age. We're waiting later. We're doing things. We're trying to be a little better with this. And we're living with our parents because we can't afford shit. That's the real struggle of young Americans. Blackwater were different because guess what? Nobody give a fuck who you date, who you marry. Go date a white girl if you don't like black men or black women, whatever. Nobody cares. Figure out how to get the economy right. I don't give a damn about these conversations no more about black women. Man, bro, give me some money.
But but I want to ask this question though, because I got married at a young age, okay, and I don't want to hear nobody say, "Oh, it's not like Lady Di." I don't care about that shit. I'm saying, if I'm able to get married at a young age, I got married at 25. Okay, I don't know if you consider that older or not. Why am I able to get married at a younger age and still be successful right now? Like, I can't even think of divorce. Me and my husband don't even have marital problems.
How old are you?
I'm 33 right now.
Okay, how old is your husband?
He's 35.
How long have y'all been together?
13 years.
You said what now?
13 years.
13. You're lasting longer than the average marriage. Okay, so
no, wait. You about to move. I'm not.
I'm not. No, we're not. I'm not about to. I'm not about to move. You're saying why am I able to do this thing, right?
No. Because your point is that only when you get older you're successful in marriage, right? And I'm not saying that that's wrong. It could be true for some people. But why am I able to, at a young age, be successful in my marriage? What makes me different from you? But fuck the
What's
finance.
your belief?
I'm not talking about the finance.
What do you believe in?
I'm talking about the relation. Hold on. I'm talking about the relationship dynamic because money did not make me get with my husband. So let's take the finances out. All right.
Okay.
Let's just talk about a male and a female being able to have a common ground, common goals, and successfully be able to have a relationship leading into a marriage.
Okay,
that's
great.
what I'm talking about.
So okay, fine. We'll start right there. How many women do you know are manicuring and pedicuring their husband or significant other? We need to see because your actions dictate your ideology. You believe in something. What do you believe in that causes you to go, I'm going to be willing to do this for this particular person? And is that belief that you have widespread?
And this is the point I was making. I think majority of people are not thinking logically. Like, let's say for me, like how I did back in that time. I didn't walk around, and I have to say this, because I know you ain't gonna like it, but I don't walk around saying I hate men. I promise you I did not. I had a father in my household. This is what we talked about earlier with Sean. I had a father in my household. He nurtured me and all this stuff, and I realized that men were important even after divorce and all this stuff. And I took my dating life seriously. But I don't think a lot of women are doing that. That's what I do know that. I think most women are not putting that in the front. They're putting, careers and other things. Not saying that that's bad, but they're not able to multitask. I did all of that, and I still had a relationship. I was able to do all, but I don't think it's majority. No. Okay,
so you're saying a lot of women don't take dating seriously, correct?
Right. They don't multitask their life.
You did mention that a lot of women don't know how or don't take their dating life seriously, correct?
Correct.
Do you think a lot of men do?
I mean, obviously, let's say with you saying that you're waiting and all of this stuff, I would say men are probably not taking it serious either right now because they're
okay. So that in and of itself, you as a serious person just so happen to find another serious person. Women and men who are serious are complaining about the unseriousness of dating today. So I can't explain your circumstance because your circumstance is unique and you got lucky. You found somebody who shared the same values to some degree and shared the same seriousness as you did. But the man sitting next to me, actually, all the men on these panels have admitted they're whores. How can you take anything seriously? And they've already said, I ain't take nothing serious. I was just fucking. How many bodies August got? How many bodies Sean Antonio got? How many bodies Graham got? How many bodies DJ Ham got? None of these men at a certain point at the age that you got married, none of them were taking it serious. They were putting dick in women and leaving them alone.
But that's why I said, how many people think like you? I was saying that earlier. So I can't talk about Graham. I already said that's making my point. He's not even protecting himself, right? You, on the other hand, right? People like you who are taking it seriously, you're saying, hey, I want to wait until these things happen. You're actually doing it the proper way. And all I'm saying is you probably could find somebody serious out there. I was lucky to find the husband I got. I could say that because it was hard to find that, correct? But I wouldn't say I'm going to put like what you're doing. You're putting like, I'm going to wait until I'm older. And you're I feel like saying that is making you being able not to find somebody.
No, that's not what I'm
parameters on relationships.
Lady Di, I'm not saying that. Statistically, this is proven. I'm quoting a stat. Statistically, the average age is 27, and that is the better time to get married according to statistics. Living with your partner helps with marriage. I'm not quoting these things as ideas. I'm quoting these things as facts. Now, if you need these things or you need the articles, I don't mind providing that. I'm gonna start. Y'all are pulling me out of streaming. I'm gonna start streaming again so I can go over these things again because I've already covered this. People who get married at the age of 27 have a much better chance of having a longer lasting marriage than those who get married younger. If you have a degree, your chance of being married and staying in the marriage is higher. And unlike what people be saying, the more college degree or more college educated they are, the more they're likely to divorce. That's not true. Statistically, that's not true. As a matter of fact, if you don't have a high school degree or if all you have is a high school diploma, you're significantly more likely to get divorced. So when we start talking about these things about stats and facts, we need to really use them.
There's too many parameters that you put in. So I'm saying we could be broke and still be married. That don't matter to me. That's all I'm saying.
Lady Di, you are not. You are Lady Di. You are not the majority. You are the minority. Broke people getting married, statistically speaking, they broke for a reason. They're not educated. They're not making a lot of money because they haven't progressed, and their marriage is more likely to fail. Why? I can't make that up.
Person, it's not the money. It's the people.
Well, then you need to argue with the facts. You can't argue with me about that. If you want to make it up, you can.
Well, what generally happens, right, is just if we just think as logically as possible, stress comes with not having no bread. Stress comes with dealing with, what bill you're going to pay or not pay, But one thing I just want to clarify is that, Cheeky, are you saying people aren't having kids as an example because they're thinking through it? Or they have like abortion and plan B is the reason why they're not having kids?
I am looking at these again. If you look these articles up, they're on CSNBC. I'm
asking based on the article. What are you
people that's asking them, and there are people that ask them, why don't you have kids? And the people are giving their reason. They are thinking about it. I can't afford kids, so I'm not having kids. And if I were to get pregnant, they may go through with a clinical cleansing. But they're doing it. They're doing it because they know they can't afford it.
Here's the thing about Cheeky's stat right there, because I've read the same thing that he's talking about, but that if you really break it down, and that's why I said, is it black or white people? Because culture plays a huge difference in family planning. What you're describing right now, Cheeky, is family planning, and a lot of white women are holding off on marriage until they get into their 30s so that they can experience a career. Most black women are not really like that, especially because of how a lot of us were taught. Our culture isn't really on it. Now, they may not be having as many kids, but it's not through family planning. It's through abortions. That's what's happening. So what you're trying to say, you're trying to ascribe an ideology or use a stat that isn't really it doesn't really fit our it's curved. It don't fit our narrative because predominantly most white women are doing the family planning. That's why I asked you that.
So if we think that white women are the only ones doing the family planning, or predominant, whatever the case, how many black women do you think have children and don't and are not family plan or not being educated or are looking for a career?
I think most of them are not family planning.
Okay, so you're meaning that they're not thinking about I can't have a kid?
51% or more are not thinking about let me wait to have a child. They're kind of just doing it or going along as life happens. If I end up getting pregnant,
but you think a majority of white women
are family planning? Family planning, because they have. I'm gonna tell you why. I say that though.
Wait, but y'all, we running past it, right?
But go ahead.
Just real quick, right? The number is what he's saying. That's more likely to be white women, and he'll give you the reason now, right?
Yeah.
So just anecdotal experience that I think you can extrapolate. Cheeky, ain't nobody mentioning condoms, right? And so if we are qualifying Plan B and abortion as her being responsible and saying I want to have a kid later, and I can use abortion or Plan B as a way to not have a kid now, that just seems like it just seems broken to me. That doesn't sound like planning. Planning should apply before you get pregnant.
Forethought.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
I'm gonna tell you why.
That's what it sounded like. So wait. Because that's what it kind of sounded like when they used B as an example. That's why I was kind of like, so I felt like, and I'm saying Phil, you don't disagree with that.
No, I'm not. That's not my disagreement. My disagreement, or not even a disagreement, the question that's being asked is these people that are being asked, why don't you have kids? What are their race? That's not the information they give. And what you're doing is implying that they're not black.
That's the
and that's the issue. Well, let me finish. The issue that I have with that is that we have this idea that a majority of our black women don't think about family planning. I don't even think majority of black women are having cleansing operations. I think that is a small number, or that is not the majority. That's what I mean to say. I don't think a majority of our black women are getting baby deletions. I don't think so. It may be a lot, but it is not the majority. It's not over 51. It ain't.
Family planning is more than that, though.
Huh?
Family planning is more than if you're gonna.
I'm just dealing. See now, but now I'm getting to the points that y'all were bringing up. I'm only handling it point by point. Yes, family planning is more.
Clear question. Clear question, Cheeky. Clear question. If she's having sex unprotected, does she qualify as a family planner? No. Would you put her in the category of family planning?
No. If she's having sex and she's not wanting to, or she's not trying to get pregnant, no, I don't think so. That don't make sense.
So she is or is not? Sorry.
No, she's not. I wouldn't consider that family planning.
So you agree with what I said then? That's what I was saying.
I keep telling you I don't disagree.
Yeah, I wanted to ask that question just to clarify that point, right? To understand that there's no disagreement there. The disagreement is who's in that number. And why are we alleging that black women are not part of that number?
Well, I'm gonna explain that to you right now because I know what Stat Cheeky's talking about, and what was happening is they were having a discussion. It was white people that were having a discussion as to why their birth rates are so low. So they're not repopulating. I think you need like 2.5 children to be able to repopulate exactly. But they're having it later, and the reason why they're having it later is because white women are family planning and deciding to have careers and having children later. So if they have children later, subsequently, they're going to have one child, maybe two, but they're not going to be able to replace themselves at an active rate. Now, people who are poor, which is us, we make less than white people. We tend to have more children because we don't have family planning. If you look at poor countries, they don't have a birth rate. They don't have a decline in the birth rate. It's mostly developed countries that are having a decline in their birth rate because of that.
Why?
Now, yes, because people like you,
you already made your point though. You already made your point because you are qualifying what that study entailed.
Yeah, but Chiki is saying that it's better to operate like this, and it's not. It's not better to wait until you get older to have children because that's smarter. It's actually not smarter because we're not repopulating ourselves. We're having a birth decline. So it's
But
important for us to have children early. Okay. I mean, I'm arguing your point because you said the lady died earlier, that the reason why people are getting married later because it's smarter for us to be able to have children later because we need to have money and we so broke. And it's like, yeah, but if you think about it in a long-term sense, if we don't repopulate ourselves then and have a birth decline, then humanity goes to shit. We don't care how broke you are, humanity goes to shit. So it behooves you to have a child or be in a relationship way earlier.
Why do you think people are having this big idea about humanity and no? If I can't afford to put my kids in daycare while I go to work, I'm not trying to have kids. That is just the first of all, let's clear this up. The average age, right? Because again, Black people are getting married even older than everyone else. The median age for Black people that are getting married, their first marriage is 30 years for Black women and 32 years for Black men. Do you think that they explain that? Because they do. Why do you think those reasons are for them waiting to get old or get to in their 30s to get married? You tell me what you think it is, and then I'll tell you what it says.
I can't speculate to what it is. You can just tell me what it says.
Oh, now you can't see, and this is why I get frustrated because speculation has been happening the entire time we've had these conversations about stats. It's because Black women believe in this feminist idea. It is because that Black women believe in the you keep you speculate so much with so many statistics, but now that the statistic is here and the average age of Black men and women is in their 30s and they give a reason why, you can't speculate why. And I've already told you, we can't afford it. We can't afford it. We cannot afford it, and we cannot, and we don't have enough money for childcare. How much does it cost to put your kid in daycare while you're at work?
Give the statistics.
How much a week?
Give the statistics of single moms. Give us statistics of abortion.
Minority. That's all I'm gonna say. The minority. No, everything.
If you put all that stuff together,
everything you say. Statistics of a single mother. You think most Black women are single mothers?
Well, I didn't say that. I'm not
okay, so we're gonna get rid of the minimum. We're gonna deal with the majority of Black people.
So Lady Di, question: if we discern all these statistics, what does it help uncover?
That with Chiki's statistics that he brought up is not a majority. I think his is a minority. That's what my point. I don't know about August. My point is just that his statistic is a minority. I don't think a lot of people are thinking like that.
Okay,
based off of the other statistics of all this foolishness that I see out here.
Okay, so now I guess the question is, right? If average birth, the first kid is 30 and 32, men and women are women and men respectively. Chiki. So 30 for women. 30 for women to have their first kid, 32 for men to have their first kid.
First kid, their first marriage. The median age at first marriage is 30 years for Black women and 32 for Black men. This is higher than the median age for white women, which is 26, and white men, which is 29.4.
Okay. And so that's the marriage rate. You're saying they're waiting to get married because they don't have the funds at that juncture younger to do so.
Yes, and they're trying to accomplish more than just be married. They're going to school. Education is part of the reasoning for later marriages. They want to be able to do things. Life has been expanded beyond just marriage and kids.
So education takes precedent. So now here's the second question, okay? Because marriage should matter when it comes to family nuclear speaking, right? Because nuclear, I don't think you can separate marriage from nuclear, right? By definition. Right. I'm not saying we use it colloquially, but I'm just saying. Right. So now the kid, what is the average age of the first kid? And let's just see what that number is to see if that responsibility of obtaining wealth also coincides with waiting to have a kid because of how expensive they are. And one of the number one reasons why women drop out of school is because they have a child. So hopefully those things coincide if we're being so responsible, right? It should correlate, right? I'm not saying
even if that is the case, the question now is how many Black people have children, percentage wise? Is that a majority or minority of Black people in the United States?
I think they said 50% of men have kids, 62% of women, so majority.
All right, the average age for let me see. This is Statista. I can give you the link.
Statistics straight.
I just said it. Give me accept all. Here. It's in the back chat.
Just shit, Osher.
All right, let me see. Mean age of mothers at first birth in the United States in 2022. Hispanic or Asian non-Hispanic 31, Cubans, all other or Central. Let me see. Black non-Hispanics is 25.8.
So 25 years old.
25.8.
And that's including men and women. Okay.
Are we seeing? You see what I'm seeing?
Yeah, right.
Okay. We on the same. I didn't know you pulled it up yet. So it's 25. It looks like the average age is 25.8, which is 26 if we round up.
Okay.
The first kid is being born at 26.
Okay.
So okay.
What was the expectation?
So
to defeat your argument as far as like marriage and family planning.
Exactly.
Okay, so this statistic, because we went through this already, just because you're not married doesn't mean that it isn't a family planning or that the person that's there isn't meant to be there. So just because the average age is 25, I use that stat to say people are putting back marriage for the most part, are putting back marriage because they can't afford to, and they give their reasons for why.
yeah, but they having kids. See, that's what I'm saying.
Exactly. They're still having children.
And the kids, 25, even with that being the case, 25 is not, to me, that's not crazy.
If the outlook is for family planning and they're still having children, then it defeats your argument.
How many black kids have, or how many black people have children? What percentage of, now I have to look that up.
Yeah,
if that is a minority,
that is into the statistic. It has to be included.
No, it doesn't, because if you don't have any kids, you won't be included into the mean.
But
how many?
That's what I'm saying. That's a minority, though.
What's a minority? The amount of people that have children, right?
Yeah, as a whole, it's like
the black people,
kids,
the amount of
married, all of that, the family dynamic. Okay, we're talking about people that actually put that seriously, like put that first. If people are having more kids, then they're thinking about seriously getting married. That's flawed. That's not what's happening here. If that's the case, I wouldn't be up here, Lady Di DTM, dating to marriage. I'm up here talking about marriage to help people with marriage. If I felt I wasn't needed because everybody's, it's a large percentage of it happening, I would not be up here talking about that. I'll be talking about something else. When I post stuff on my social media about marriage, I see a lot of people don't want it. They don't want that. And it's not because of, I can't afford it. It's mostly I hear them shaming the opposite sex, or it's something stupid as hell. I'm like, that's not even real. But they're saying these things because they're being brainwashed.
Okay, so
that's why I asked the demographic. That's why I asked that.
Okay,
white
so
and black. Yes, black.
Well,
white and black.
It's difficult to give a precise number of black people who have children, as statistics focus on fertility rates and the proportion of black individuals who have children rather than a total count. However, data shows that in 2023, the general fertility rate among single race non-Hispanic black females ages 15 to 44 in the United States was 5.9%. Meaning 5.9 of this age group had a birth in the previous 12 months. Additionally, a significant percentage of black women have their first birth between the ages 20 to 24, which we just saw, and the birth rates are highest between 25 and 29. Fertility rates. The general fertility rate among black women ages 15 to 44 was 5.9 in 2023. First births, 37% of black women have their first birth between ages 20 and 24. The highest age of fertility is 25 and 29. So again, majority of these people don't have.
Majority of them are having children earlier than the majority of average marriages, is what you just explained just now.
and how many of them have children at all?
I mean, that's irrelevant to the point. We're just talking about.
And that's the problem. You can't say that's irrelevant. So if I say 10% of all black people are having kids, generally speaking, and the rest of us don't, and then you go, well, look at that 10%. That 10% is proven that they're not getting married and they're having children. A minority. No, I'm not. I'm not moving the goalposts. What I'm proving to you is black people, generally speaking, do not have kids. They're not having kids. They're not having kids. They're not having kids.
Why you're moving the goalposts? Because
we're saying majority of people having kids without the marriage. That's all I'm talking about.
Exactly, and that's what you tried to make the argument. What you're trying to transform your argument into now is that you made the argument that the reason why people were not having children was because they were doing family planning. Because they're waiting until they're not. Hold on,
most people aren't having children. So where are you confused?
You gotta chill, bro. Because I'm trying to.
Bro, y'all are not making sense, and y'all are trying to prove something that don't make
more sense. If you learn to listen. You have to listen. I've heard you this whole time, so I'm just trying to articulate the point.
Go ahead, finish.
And then you can correct me while I'm at, bro. That's what I'm saying. The point that you argued was that most people are getting married late. And so the average rate for marriage is what was it? You said 34 or 32? Is that what you said? And you articulated the reason why is because of family planning. And so the fact of the matter that they're still having children at a younger rate than they're having marriages would also argue that the fact that the reason why they're doing it is not because of family planning. And that's what Lady Di was just trying to articulate.
What percentage of go ahead. You may be able to have.
Yeah, so here's what I would compare, right? So you have that age, so you have 57% of women, 46% of men, right? That have kids from 15 to 44, right? We agree on that. That's what Cheek just read, right? I would simply.
Can I ask you real quick? I'm sorry to interrupt. Didn't you say that most women are not having children, or most black people are not having children? Is that what you said, Cheeky?
Most black people do not have kids, based off of what I was just reading. Most black people aren't having kids, and if they are having kids, I'm not using
the interjection was unnecessary, right? So 57% of women, 46% of men, so it's like 50-50, right? If you kind of like use the numbers, right? It's like 50% of us have kids, 57-46.
So most of us do have kids. Okay.
Right. But now here's the thing, Cheek, that I would simply do the subtraction. What's the percentage of us that are married? So if it looks like there's more people that have kids that are married than that are married by almost 20% or so. So those are the numbers that we should kind of try to quantify and then say, okay, are people being responsible?
Right.
And it seems like the most responsible thing that would be be married. But we know that there's a new ideology that says you can cohabitate and etc. So I don't want to just pigeonhole it to marriage, but family planning, nuclear family, marriage should be one of the steps in that. So that's kind of how I break it down. I'll just put the percentage of marriage versus who has kids. We understand that more people have kids than are married. And then there are several women that are having kids younger, men as well. Obviously, they got to be having sex with somebody. And then the marriage rate age is still higher than the having kids age. So those things kind of don't coincide well to people thinking smartly. Especially a man, because you have assumed parental rights when you marry. Other than that, in most states, you got to establish them. A lot of the men who aren't pro-marriage would say if you want to have kids, you should consider marriage for that very reason. So that's how I'm kind of looking at it all. What y'all think?
No, I agree. That's what and the reason why I asked him the demographic of the data because I'm telling you that the culture makes a difference. So the way that we were brought up is different than the way a lot of that family planning shit. White people are having a crisis that's happening where it's happening all over, but white people are really having a repopulation crisis, and they're trying to figure out why. And it's because of that level of family planning where women are holding out, which is the point that we're trying to make, on having children until they get older and have experienced their life. All the things that you described, Cheeky, white women specifically, are holding out from having children and being, the maternal person and just subjecting themselves to being a wife and a mother because they want to experience life, just like you said, get a degree, go and do a career, and then want to have children in their later years, closer to geriatric pregnancy, where they're only able to repopulate themselves with one child. And so it's causing a decline in their population. And that's why they're like really paying attention to this.
Their average age is 28. So the Asians was the highest at 31.
Boy, they're waiting the longest.
They're waiting the longest, but they're waiting for 31. So
you can even look at China. China is about to be no more. China's about to be because of that one child policy that they did. So this is happening globally, and it's mostly developed countries. So I understand what he's saying, but in the Black community, it's specifically because we don't make as much as our counterparts. So the ones that are typically the more poor, they have the most children. It just is what it is. And you look at, and I was watching white people have this discussion. If you look at poor countries, and I know I said this earlier, but if you look at poor countries, they're having more children. They don't have a population crisis.
Yeah, that's so. Here's what I'll say though. Going to white schools, white women have no fucking inhibitions. That's one thing that threw me for a loop. White women do anything, nigga. Do your homework. They'll have a graph and calculator while giving you head doing your homework. Weird shit. Like they was whoring. That's why I always say you smash a white woman, it's a half a body. Real shit. That don't even count as a whole body. That was regular shit. White women, you shitting me? They don't have no. And it just when I look at it, right? Like it's like we so hyper focused. I'm not saying all women aren't sexual, but we know that based on how they was acting in my anecdotal experience, they had to be running down to that Planned Parenthood
or on a pill.
And it's just a lot of them. You know what I'm saying?
No, and they have private doctors that will do it for them so they don't count in the stats with the number of abortions and such. That's what's really happening.
What you mean?
They don't have to go to
a doctor that'll call it something else.
Exactly. That's what's been happening since forever.
Miss Liz said they do anal. It's crazy.
So it don't count.
And I think that it shouldn't be a half a body, it should be 2.
Why? I'm counting.
Well, it count for a lot because you just gave yourself to somebody who would do anything.
I see why she said that.
Oh, you saying it's so egregious. Oh, okay. I'm just saying it ain't that hard.
Which is why y'all need to stop doing that.
You make one tackle, they be thinking you fucking like, oh no, but yeah, no, I catch your drift, Dr. G. I understand your point. No, man, it's kind of far from the nurture thing, huh?
Yeah, no, I think like Sean planted the seed and the bomb blew up and he left. And here we are still, tackling the remnants. But I think that question was pretty much resolved when we conceded that both nurture but differently. Okay.
Yeah, I think the nurture thing is interesting to me, right? I think it's very important because we mind out, like, do men actually protect and provide, right? Because that's always the assumption. That's the mantra, I should say. And then when you start to deep dive, you come to from different conclusions. And I think nurture, when we looked up the definition, it was saying like almost like push somebody forward to make progress, and generally speaking, from my anecdotal experience, wipe, get up, wipe your face off, keep going. That's more like my I got a brother that's 12 years older than me, and then like my dad, and so I made more progression in those realms. Now my mom, of course, but generally speaking, I was drinking a bottle. I know whatever. I used to drink a bottle. I was like 5 years old. I don't know, something about it, nigga. I just and my mom would sneak it to me. I'll be in the closet and shit, hiding from my brother. You know what I'm saying? While if my dad catch me, my ass is grass. You feel me? So it's just like little shit like that, So
there was the nurturing side of her. She wanted her baby to have what her baby wanted.
But so Dr. G, based on the definition, that's not nurture though, right? Because I had to push forward. You see, that was more like
it's a
I'm
part
her
of your
baby. You know, coddle. You know,
it's
all
a
right,
part of your
Jamila,
development. Part of your development. You was just kind of slow.
maybe so. God damn it. I don't know, maybe I was 4. I asked sis. You know, sis was snitching and all that, but you know what I'm saying. But I just when I use that very small example, I'm just wondering, is that what we're seeing? You know, from and does that help me in that instance, as opposed to knowing, you know, that shouldn't be happening, you know, at that juncture. You know, and it may be like 'cause I'm a boy, so that could be it, you know. But generally speaking, in my house, I do most of the disciplining too. You know, even when we do homework, I'm more I don't know if I'm more patient, but I will not give them the answer and I'll go over it over. I'll sit 30, 40 minutes, an hour. You know, they tracing, they mess it up. I'll make a new trace. You know, I try to do it myself and just let them work. You know, my wife does a great job. Like she's the doctor in education, you know, but at times I see her drawing the motherfucker like, wait, you know, like, so how does that manifest? I guess what is how you define that? You know, I don't know. Interesting.
I think that and I don't know if you about to move on. I think that just if you have the perfect dynamic where you have the 2-parent household, the mother's nurturing, it shows up in a different way. And this just been my experience, you know, because I come from a single parent home, and then I run in my household. My whole experience has been totally different, and because we've been together so long and been able to develop and build it up until this point, I see how my children, my sons, are totally. They're not the design that I initially thought that they were, that I wanted them to be, because my wife made it better, you know. And there's just certain parts of myself that I kind of like lack on, that I can see that they're able to get because my wife is present. And so the structure of it all, and a lot of like what you was just describing, homework, I do all that, and we have the actual conversation. Whereas my mother, and when I was in a single parent home, this is me looking at it from 2 different dynamics. Coming from a single parent home, my mother didn't have the patience or the understanding, or just the want to be able to sit like that. And it's not for lack of trying, it's just that she just didn't have it. It's just, she felt like she was nurturing the best that she could, but it really didn't hit as hard as me having a father present, and then me seeing me impart that into my sons, and them being present, and just how it's, improving their life, and just how the world, my son, the way that they think and the way that they operate is totally different from me. And I think that a lot of it's in part because of my wife. Now, if it was just me, it'd have been straight structure, discipline, and no room for nothing else. It would just be, on time for this, just beating it in their head. But my wife, she fills it up, and that's what it is. That's what I think. That's the important part. But I think I do nurture them a lot more, a lot better. But I'll end there.
Okay. Let me read these real quick. You want to say something? Let me read these real quick, Di. You can say something. Marcus with the $2 says, thank you for that question, Lady Di. I think it was the question. I forget who you posed it to. Aaron with the $5 says, I think the majority of fathers was forced to be the weekend dads, and they were living in the home. I think majority realized their voice was muted. Callie with the $2 says, 30% are single mother raised. How's that a matriarchy? I think we kind of went into it a little bit. Jonathan with the $5 says, so where do we get all these feminine men? Aaron with the $2 says, sound like we happy with C+ grade families. Marcus with the $2 says, so the past don't matter now? Wow, bro. You respond to this, Cheek?
Again, if that's what you got from it, bro, I don't care. Like, I don't care to do this. Y'all stay where y'all at. I'm happy to let y'all be there. I don't care. So have fun, brother. If that's what you think. That's not what I said.
Do you want to respond to this, August? Concisely?
I mean, you could just look around, and we have a single mother epidemic. That's almost like saying that there is no single mother epidemic. You know, that we can unilaterally see that. And so if the children are being raised by the mother, that is a matriarchy. If the mother is doing most of the rearing, that's a matriarchy. The ideologies, the worldview, it's a matriarchy.
Aaron with the $2, is there stats on couples deciding to punt instead? I don't think so, brother. Jonathan with the $5, what dudes out here living with their mom? Well, we know that the live-in age is older, just generally speaking, from before for sure. But you'd be surprised. Nas with the 20 ball says the black quote unquote community since Gen X has become fragmented and individualistic in itself. Women being seen as ward of the state while nullifying men's bargaining power is relative to the argument of an existing matriarchy.
Brother.
Nas with the $5 says Cheeky is right. The culture is being dictated by what's being incentivized. Eli with the $10 says, what's poppin'? Says, salute to the beautiful ladies on the panel, especially Lady Di for staying on Cheeky's neck respectfully. Cheek, always have a great dialect. Salute, brother. Tony, what's poppin'?
What up, buzzing, bird, flip a dozen. Holla at your boy, you thought your cousin was.
Salute to my brother Tony Gold in the building who gifted one. This might be risky membership, man. Whoever got blessed with it, please maintain it and say thank you. Aaron with the $2 says, Cheeky, you giving our age range too much credit. Marcus with the $5 says, Cheeky, you still cool, brother. Just take this L, bro.
Jack. Absolutely. I don't got no problem taking no L. Y'all think I got an L? I'm all for it. CJ done beat me like 5 times. Fantastic. 3 at least. Everybody done beat me. I don't care. August got like 4 bodies on me, some shit like that. Look, bro, y'all beat me up. I'm the puncher bag. I don't care.
Nah, man, I'm coming to understanding. That's all.
Jack with the 50 ball says, support to Red Pill Rage Cheeky coming off the bench. Haven't seen someone. Did you crash out? He's like, crash out like that since I retired from panels. Keep swinging, dog. Us folks in a no buns gang need a voice of reason to fight or something. This Cammy's fault.
And when I'm feeling broke, E and J by my side, Henny like $40. This shit like 25.
Perfect.
You want to respond to this, Cheek?
Nah, Jack is Jack, man. Jack been like this since I met him.
I'll leave Jack alone. Aaron with the $2 says, truth is women punting babies and men ain't asking. Jack with the 20 says, he said, I guess they arguing in the chat. He said, what they got to do with me? Let these strong, independent women move theyself. I'm in my soft guy era till I get a proposal from one of these women who don't need a man. I only simp for Xylo Bear. The male feminist with the $2 says, please Google when do men become dads. No, it said it. It said it because when we pulled up the one in Cheek sent, it was like 25.8. Now I will say when I looked it up for the women specifically, it was 25.8, but it said people on the first one. Jonathan with the $10 says, maybe I'm slow. Ellipsis. What'd you say, Cheek?
No, I was just saying I was agreeing with what you were saying. Yeah.
Jonathan with the $10 says, maybe I'm slow. Ellipsis. But I hear that relationships are trash out here. Multiple bodies. Ellipsis. Ain't nobody planning. Go outside and look. Yeah, they say it's hard landscape, man. Jack with the $5 says, I miss Callie Bev. She's the best. Sorry for the interruption. Addressing the chat through super chats. Old habits die hard, I guess. I'ma talk my shit on mute. Jonathan with the $2 says, 5 damn hamp. Nah, man. I used to get on the bus by myself. I ain't missed a day of school since first grade. You know what I'm saying? The male feminist with the $2 says, use Chat GPT. Way more than 55% of black people have kids. Yeah, maybe. That's what it said. Zeke in the building.
What up, buzzing, bird, flip a dozen. Holla at your boy, you thought your cousin was.
Perfect.
Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend and tell a friend. Hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. I really enjoyed the conversation. To Dr. G's earlier point, it seemed like it mined itself through pretty well, right? I think that good and better I think Cheeky kind of clarified that. I don't know if it applies, but I think the more applies, right? But it's not to say that anybody's doing a bad job, because it does show up differently. And I think the fathers have more subject matter to kind of go over. And I think that maybe even increases if it's a boy, you know? And I say this thing in hyperbole, and I hope that it resonates well, that a woman doesn't know how to love herself if a man doesn't love her first. And I think to identify, you know, just what it looks like other than in a attraction or sexual manner, you know, from a man. And so if they don't have that father when they coming up, you know, the first type of love they get potentially comes from a person who's, you know, interested in a way other than, you know, whether it be platonic or, you know, as a father figure, so to speak, you know. So I think it helps people discern to see things clearly, right? That's why it's so important to have both dynamics in a household, you know. So it's interesting, man. Interesting. Dr. G, any final thoughts?
Great conversation as usual. I appreciate the invite. And, you know, I'm going to always say it at the end of the day. And I don't think this conversation was really intended to get into the gender war thing where I'm blaming you and you blaming me. You know, that wasn't really the point of it. But I'm going to always rest with, we just simply need to give each other more grace. We're going through the same things. We're experiencing them differently, or perhaps maybe not so different. But the point is, we're in the same place as a community. The women are not better off than the men, and vice versa. It's just not true. And so, but I think if we continue to look at it as a issues that we need to solve in our community, right, and give each other grace, we can begin to move forward and not have to continue to look back and resonate with old talking points and old data points, because we're moving forward. So that's what I would say. Thank you, HAMP. And thank you for the support with my book. And I hope that you guys pick it up. And yeah, let me know what you think.
Yeah, man, for sure, man. I'm gonna get mine. I hope people follow suit, but we'll make sure that we keep that link in rotation. Hopefully we see Dr. G more as well. She represented in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Jump roping, being in shape, tug of war. She got trampled and all that, man. Cheek was laughing, Dr. G. I ain't laughing that hard. I ain't laughing as hard as him.
If it was funny, it was funny. I ain't gonna hold it back. I laugh at too much stuff.
And you know, Cheek is a professional photographer, videographer, right? He laughing in the damn camera, right? I'm like, somebody shooting because they keep falling. He busting out laughing. I'm like, Cheek, you ain't supposed to laugh.
Bro, I'll be laughing at the worst things. Like,
wasn't it? It was a lot going on to be laughing at, though, wasn't it?
It was a lot.
He said, "Yo, that bear crawl was different." Like,
nah, I told him he got to chill. He doing when he said that, I said he doing a lot. He doing way
too much, motherfucker, man. But salute to Quan, man. Speaking of bear crawl, oh, good. Any final thoughts, brethren?
Yes, sir. Dr. G, I got your book and my link. Check it out. I'm gonna make sure I support and purchase for sure. What I'll say to this is just been in my experience, and this is very anecdotal, just with the women in my life, the admonishment of correction that men have to give our women sometimes is very harsh to take. And so it gets to a point where they feel as though we're attacking them, when in fact that's not what's happening. And so I've had to develop a language. I've had to develop a language and really find a way to explain things, especially when it comes to like marriage and stuff like that, just so that we can move forward. Because in order for us to progress, it takes more than grace. It takes, and I don't, no disrespect, it takes more than grace, but it takes correction. And so if we're focused on where the deficiencies are and adjust those, us as a nation and us as a community will continue to progress forward. And I'll just leave it there.
Cheek. Perfect. Any final thoughts, brethren?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna have to. Yeah, y'all don't. Encourage me to get back on goddamn YouTube and just go over some of these things, because I can't keep hearing the same shit over and over and over, and then we just get stuck at the same thing. This shit's supposed to be about fucking nurturers, and we got on black men and women in the 70s getting kicked out by the cook. Like, I'm so sick of this shit, but I guess it's all part of the process. We'll get past it one day and finally have a conversation and stay to it, hopefully.
Yeah, Lady Dada, she might be.
I'm here.
What's goody? Any final thoughts? Welcome back.
Perfect. Thank you. I thought this was a great conversation. I do kind of like what Chiku was saying, kind of, I guess, stick on that topic because it was interesting to hear. Men are more nurturing. And it made me think about, outside the box on that. So, but this was a great conversation. Learned a lot from it. Thanks for inviting me, and good to see everyone.
No doubt. Yeah, and I definitely take the onus on that. I was just kind of interested to hear Dr. G's perspective when they were having that dialogue, because I know, that she's a proponent of understanding that we come from a lot of difficult times that weren't 100% our fault. I think that she has a fair point in terms of, did we acquiesce too easily or too early or too soon, But also we understand, if you think things like buck breaking and things of that were a thing, then how long did it actually take? So that was me kind of getting interested in what they were talking about. You know what I'm saying? So I make sure that I held myself accountable by not redirecting earlier. I was just listening, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? And I do agree that we can get paralysis by analysis there when we're talking about the origin of such things. You know what I'm saying? At a point, though, the origin can't continue to be the causation, right? So after 80 years, for it to still be the causation, I think that we have to process, more into what's happened the last 30 years, right? And I think a lot of that has been propagandized. And so even if it's still not affecting us in the way in which it used to, we think it does. And therefore we operate in that manner. We get paralyzed, So I appreciate it being brought up. And at the same time, we have to understand how we apply it to conversations now, right? I think we do ourselves a disservice by applying it to where it's still the actual thing, to that point, for sure, right? But we got to acknowledge it, and then it's okay to move forward with the understanding, right? I was taught to spear playing football as a kid. So literally hit them with your helmet. And you hit them hard, right? And then motherfuckers kept breaking their neck, You're like, oh, if you arch your neck, it literally can't break. So literally, if you do this as hard as you can, pause, because that shit looks crazy, it won't break. Your neck, your spine is straight when you put your head down. And I don't even know if people know that. But we was hitting with the crown of our head to try to make the most impact forever. Right. And so we want to maintain the impact. But once you know better, you do better. Right. And stop talking about how much impact you used to make, where you kill your goddamn self. So it's interesting, man. Interesting. I think y'all did a fine job. Salute to y'all. If you're in the Discord, if you're not, please join. Disclaimer: it's Toxic Thursday. What you may witness tonight is not generally the norm, God willing.
Come in the fucking bedroom. Get him out of here. Come on. Perfect.
I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Please follow everybody. Hit the links. God willing, I will see y'all Friday. Tickets to Atlanta are live. Atlanta's gonna be dope. Y'all be safe and do the right thing, man. Like, share, subscribe.
DC.
Tell a friend.
You said Atlanta. Yeah.
DC.
There we go. I'm like,
DC is it. I'm tripping. DC is it. Risky Weekend, DC.eventbrite.com. The fucking VIP events is gonna be dope as hell. The whole weekend gonna be chock full of events. We're gonna have an amazing time, I promise. DC is it. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Be safe and do the right thing, man. Like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend.